There we going. You're live. G'day out there. How you guys going? I've got Alan, Matt, of course, with a high IQ, and Big Blue in here. There we going. You're live. G'day out there. Why can I hear myself? I shouldn't be able to hear myself. Let me mute myself. There we go. That's better. So how'd you find that, Blue? Was that a fun nearly an hour with Mike Jones?
About like having a impacted wisdom tooth removed.
Without the anaesthetic?
So have we...
It's
Yeah.
hard to remain silent with Mike talking.
It is. I'm still trying to work out, have we established whether a canal is above or below a ice rink? We can't... I gather he was sort of trying to indicate something about that the boards, because they're attached to each other, make sure that the ice is level. Is that basically his argument?
Well, that level is then, of course, a straight line.
Yeah, that's
When we
his
know
whole
that
point.
level is.
It's back to the same Bev bullshit as usual. Level is horizontal. That's all he was trying to say.
Yeah. Level is horizontal is a straight line.
Yeah.
But he didn't establish any of those. Well,
nope.
Not that was a surprise.
Yeah.
So we don't know for certain that the ice rink was level. We don't know that the boards were in a straight line. And I don't think we ever got to horizontal.
Well, what I was going to say, of course, the NHL aren't really going to bother about defining the surface of the rink as being an equipotential plane because it's so bloody tiny.
That's right. But it was... I don't even know why we got onto the ice rink, because we were talking about the canal at the time.
Well, because he realised the canal was too bloody big, so he wanted something smaller, didn't he? He's not daft.
Well, it must be that Ivy League education.
Like his Papa Fluff Bev. He's a disingenuous, etc., etc., etc.
Yes. Larry's pointing out. Sorry, I'll post it up. Don't know if you can see that.
I think you need to make Sleep Blue.
I'm back. Did I miss anything?
Not yet.
Nah, not really.
That's right. It was your fault, Alan, because you mentioned tea. So we got fancy cup of tea now. Yeah, cheers. I was just taking a sip of mine when you lifted that. What are they? Can't say. What bickies you got? What bickies are they?
Foxes, Golden Crunch creams.
Oh, nice. Good choice.
I know.
Good choice.
Look, I was terribly disappointed that the Jaffa cakes I had in my cupboard last week turned out to be really dry and horrible.
Oh no!
And not very spongy. And of course, to really annoy farmers, it also turned out that I'd been left a big pack of custard creams and some chocolate bourbons.
Oh, nice.
My daughter did me well last week.
I haven't got any biscuits at the moment, though. Hobnobs, though. Hobnobs are a good one.
Yeah. Well, she also bought She also bought a packet of chocolate hobnobs last week as well.
Oh, now you're talking.
Although the grandkids did eat half of them with her, but I did get at least half the packet.
So is my audio coming through on Zoom? Okay, it's not too
It sounds
overdriven.
Sounds fine here.
That's right. Then.
So, are we now experts on Zambini machines too? By the way,
Don't say that because something's going to happen then.
The Happy Zamboni would make a fun picture book. Oh, I don't know. Maybe one day we should try me doing some readings of some Flurf level textbooks that I have here.
Flurf
So-
level.
Because
Flurf level.
Children's
my-
books,
my-
none of those.
They're on level. Are they on the level? Or are they horizontal?
Well, I have general relativity 4 and special relativity 4 and several other textbooks for the Flurf level.
It's funny,
Although it's not actually what it says on the cover of the book.
funny, we were having a clear out of our books here because we've got a lot of books here, and I found one of my own, and it was a children's book I had from donkeys years ago about the space shuttle. Should have kept hold of that and sent that to her. Should have sent that to a Flurf, I think.
Just 1 second.
1.
2.
Well, you said more than 1 second now.
It was more than 1 second. He just means lots of 1 seconds put together.
Lots of them.
I'm not sure. I wasn't sure if he was trying to get his soundboard going, or is he indicating what he thinks of us by putting up a picture of a graveyard?
His grave. A graveyard. Let's say his grave.
Ooh, well, at least it's better there. We've got a field now. Okay.
Yeah, that's better. Blue's naked. He's got
Blue's
nothing.
naked.
It's just big blue.
Blue's scared that if he puts up his picture, his zoom will go down.
So now we've got a guest the scientist. Now we've got Paul's guest the scientist. Well, what have we got?
do.
Has he posted any clues?
Well, I'll get Paul to post him if he's got it written out.
I do have it written out.
You're back now, Alan, or are you still?
Yeah. No, I'm back now. No, I was just going to say maybe we should have a read of these one day and get Paul to review them.
Well, you might. Well, here we go.
Yeah, okay.
For babies.
Yeah. That'd be good.
That's where you went to get the other one. What's the other one? General relativity. Yeah, for
I've
babies.
also got one on ABCs of biology and ABCs of engineering
Okay.
from that baby university range. So yeah, maybe we can do some reviews of those at some point.
There you go. I've got the clues out there, Timbo.
Ah, great. Thanks, Eva. Let's put those up. So, Paul has... Today's scientist has measured the light speed with... Whoops, sorry, just jumped at the wrong moment. Within 5% of accuracy using a rotating toothed wheel and light reflecting from a mirror 8.6 kilometres away. He has also measured the relative speed of light in air and water, but was beaten to his result by Fulcrum 7 weeks earlier. For those that don't usually join with stream, you'll see Paul's got a bit of a clue in his name. That's where gravity doesn't work. You'll see some letters missing there. See if you can work out who that is.
It's cut that image off. It's supposed to say
it?
gravity doesn't work until you look down.
But you just... I think it does work anyway in Toonland.
No, that's right.
Well, are you sure you haven't had this scientist before? Because he kind of what you've just said there sounds familiar. I don't know why.
What scientists that have looked at science before?
Yeah, just no. The clue sounds familiar. Cheeky
Of
git.
course, Roma was the first one to measure the speed of light using the moons of Jupiter, but that wasn't very accurate. So this guy,
So wasn't that long ago then?
yeah, this guy, no, quite a long time ago. This guy devised a method where he had a rotating toothed wheel, and he had a mirror 8.6 kilometers away, and he shone light through the teeth of the wheel, and it was reflected by the mirror. And of course, the wheel was rotating. I think it was about 12.6 times per second at 720 teeth. And he found out that when he rotated it at 12.6 rotations per second, that the light didn't pass through it. He lost sight of the light because the light that was reflecting from the mirror got blocked by the tooth as it bounced back. So he couldn't see it. And then when he rotated it at 25.2 rotations per second, he could see the light again because it was now coming through the next gap in the wheel. And so by using those numbers, he calculated how fast the light was traveling.
Put a GoPro on a Xerox Zambrini. It's no good. Okay, we'll see if anyone gets that. I haven't Googled food yet. I should do that.
Come on, someone's Google food has got to be good.
Someone's Google food's got to be good.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'll go up here. See how long it takes to get an answer. I have in my video list. Obviously, I've got the usual Lindsay Bingo. Brian, not so logical. Put up a thing about LIGO. I thought we could listen to that. I know his last name. Now he's just got to. Sorry. Oh, there it is. I see his name now. How do you pronounce that? Interesting. Yeah, that's the one. Stinger's got it there already. I think that's right. Isn't it? Oh, well, no, Judy's more right than Stinger, I think. Is that correct?
Paul,
It's not Stringer. He hasn't got it right.
No,
but Judy does. Judy does. Well done, Judy.
Yeah.
It was indeed Hippolyte Physio. That wasn't actually his first name either.
It sounds like an Alka-Seltzer.
His first name was actually Armand, but I don't think he really liked that for some reason. Yeah.
It sounds like a name you'd give to an Alka-Seltzer or a...
Yeah, or a sherbet pop.
Sherbet pop. Physio. Yes.
Yeah, Physio.
Paul,
Yeah?
Paul, Nerd Alert would like you to explain it again, but so a Flurf can understand it.
Oh, well, that's impossible. I can't do that.
I was listening today with someone on Gem Panda's channel asked, can you simply explain relativity?
Yeah. You explain general relativity in a few sentences.
I may have a book that might do it.
Yeah, right. Is that special relativity or general relativity for babies?
Was actually general relativity. I believe there is one for special relativity too. But I couldn't afford all of them. All of the books in the Baby University series come out to about £300.
Wow.
There's a lot of them now.
Yeah. So to explain general relativity well?
The very, very basic concepts of it, I think, yes.
Okay.
Like I said, not today because we've obviously got stuff planned, but another time we could go through them and see what you
Yeah,
actually
why
think
not?
of them.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
sounds good.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I think the guy that writes them is an Aussie academic.
Okay.
That'd be
I
good.
think he's a physicist, in fact.
Cool.
Okay. Now, just in case anybody hasn't looked into LIGO, I thought we could ask a well-known expert, Brian Logic. How
Brian's
LIGO.
logic. Brian's illogic.
So, I'm afraid I'll have to let you suffer through this because it's a bit, as you'd expect, long and uninformative.
Troubling.
So I'm going to put it up speed a little bit because, yeah, it's a bit drawn out. So we can discuss it in the end, or if you want to, we can stop it partway through.
Well, how are you doing? Hopefully you can all hear me. I'll have to speak a bit quickly because
Whoop.
it's late at night here.
Whoop.
Not going
Oh,
to
you're going to have to
understand
slow
him.
that down.
Yeah,
Have enough trouble
not gonna work.
understanding him at normal speed, Timbo.
Yeah, just.
Or you could have understood that.
Okay, we'll start there. See how we go.
Housemates are asleep.
Are you going to share it with us in
You're
here?
going to have to make it louder too, Timbo. It's like
Yeah,
you're
I'm doing
whispering
that. I'm turning up as much as I can. He's pretty soft. You should see it on my camera, Alan.
Okay, you're not just gonna screen share it to us then.
Well, no, I'm
I need
using my
to pin
camera.
you. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, so everything that's going out to YouTube will be on my camera. So, yeah, so you should be able to hear it. I'm sorry he's a little bit quiet, but I've got it turned up as much as I can. So
This is LIGO, okay? These are the LIGO arms in
it.
hand pump,
Loigo.
okay,
we go.
in the USA. Now, as you
At
know,
least he
they must be
didn't
straight.
put a W in it.
That's the whole point of them. And it's claimed, obviously it's claimed by people who believe that we live on a globe, right? That these were built, right, totally straight, but the ground underneath them is curved. Okay? So what I did here is I just brought a red line there across this photograph from one end to the other, right, to make it right angle triangle. Okay? Pretty straightforward. Okay, I'll go here first. Okay, LIGO, right? Each LIGO detector consists of two arms, each 4 kilometers, 2.5 miles long, right? So we know what length they are, approximately 2.5 miles in either direction, right? So let's go here. Okay, here's a path I laid out, right? Now it's pretty precise. It's not 100%, but it's good enough. So taking in the two arms here and the length between them, then it is 8.48 miles. It's probably slightly more, but just to give a rough estimate of what it is, 8.48 miles as a triangle, right? So
What?
if I go to the line, I will keep that there, and I just want to show some, right? So, 1 second. Right. So I'm just going to start here, right? Go in right close. And I'm going to take a distance between these two. Now, remember, I'm using the Earth's surface here, right? So, start here, and I come right out, and right out. This up, here, and over to here. And I'll zoom back in.
Where the hell did he get 8.48 miles?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. I'm trying to think of what calculation he's done.
It's the circumference of the triangle, apparently.
3.52 miles, as you can see.
Circumference of a triangle.
3.52 miles.
Oh,
That's the
Jesus.
length, right? Now that's along the surface of the Earth, 3.52 miles. That's the length that you're given. Okay? So, if I just do it again, let's start here.
I'm still trying to work out why the hypotenuse of that triangle is important in any way, shape, or form. But anyway.
Let me just zoom back in. So I'm going from one station to the other, right? One LIGO station to the other, which means that I'm making a right angle triangle. Go back there.
Actually,
3.52
drawing a line,
miles.
but okay.
So between one station to the other is 3.52 miles. Let's say one end here of this arm to this end of this arm is 3.52 miles. So whether I used the surface of the Earth, or I took a straight line from here to here, is 3.52 miles, right? Now it might be slightly more, right, if I was more precise, right? But the point is that they're giving you the exact same reading, right? Now what we have here is a right-angled triangle. Now this is the thing. They're claiming that, now, I know, you all know this is a load of rubbish, but they're claiming that the surface of the Earth underneath the LIGO station here is curved, which means that this line here, right, has to be a curved distance, right? So I just showed the length, just measured between the two corners of the two arms here, the ending arms, along the surface of the Earth, and it was 3.52 miles. And now I've just done it here again, and I've used the ends of the two arms, and it's 3.52 miles. Now, that is a straight line distance, right? These arms here have to be straight, because they're shooting lasers up and down them, right? That's the whole point, interferometry. So they must be straight, right? The two arms at the LIGO station. And this line is a straight line. Now,
Yeah, you've said that several times.
you're claiming that this line is curved, is a curved distance. Now,
I don't think they were claiming
This is
anything,
the
but
sort-
anyway, on that line.
if this is straight and this is straight, but this is a curved distance, then that would mean that even though I've just showed this between the end of both arms is the same exact distance, length and distance, as it is if I use the surface of the Earth outside the ends of the two arms. So that would mean that this, if they're claiming this is a curved distance, and that these two arms are both 2.5 miles long or 4 kilometers each long, then that would mean that if this was a straight distance, then it has to be less than 3.52 miles. Because
Because Google
if
said
this
What?
is a straight
Because Google
yeah,
Maps says so.
Really?
Now, I know
Really?
Google here show they're using Cartesian, right? So this is all flat. This is all measured flat. This is all shown to be flat, right? Because this is all polar coordinates, which is Cartesian. So it's all flat out. Using a flat plane, horizontal baseline. That's the way it's done, right? Cartesian. But the thing is that they are still claiming that the surface underneath the LIGO station is curved. So what would be the chord line distance then? Because if this line here is a curved distance, and it's not actually, like, even though it's a straight line, and it can't be anything else, because I just showed it to be a straight line,
Oh my God.
they have to claim it's a curved line. That would mean
Pause
it's a
it for a
curved
moment,
distance.
Timbo.
So
Yeah,
that would
sure.
mean that the chord line distance, right?
Stop. Yep. Go for
I
it.
mean, he's basically just completely glossed over and missed the fact that neither of the LIGO arms are actually level at the Earth's surface.
No.
So when he joins the two ends of the LIGO to make that third side, it's not going to be a chord anyway.
That's right.
What an idiot.
There's an 8-foot elevation difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a chord in the first place, Brian. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, now what he's going to try to do, I guarantee you what he's going to try to do is say that, see, they're the same length. The straight line on the Google Earth is exactly the straight line distance between those 2 points, over 2.5 miles. Sadist added in there.
It's
one
not going to be
foot
much difference
would
anyway.
change- Yeah, fractions of a fucking inch, for God's sake.
Yeah, I
Brian.
know.
And you're not going to pick that up,
Jesus God.
particularly when you look at how he picked his two lines anyway. His first line was
Yeah.
about 20 feet away from
Literally.
his first line. Yeah, it's like,
Literally, fractions of a damn inch.
Oh, dear.
yeah. I still don't get why he's even worried about. We're talking about the lines of the arms. Why would we even? Is this just a thing with flirts that they have to form a triangle when they see two lines? Is that just automatic that you can't do the maths unless you have a triangle?
Yeah. And
I mean, that'd be like taking a piece of cotton and stretching it out on a flat table, right, and measuring the length, and then putting a grain of rice under the center of it and measuring the length again.
Yeah, that's right.
You're not going to get hardly any difference.
Also, it would really help his position if instead of using miles as his chosen units, he used something a little more convenient, like, I don't know, meters, yards, feet, or even inches.
Well, he's going to have to. He's going to have to
because
take
it
his
gives all of
measures.
those it gives all of those distances to 2 decimal places.
Yeah, and he's going to have
And
to
I know
have
that-
measurements
and I
to
know
enough
that being
resolution.
stupid, but
He's
Yeah.
going to have those measurements to enough resolution to be able to differentiate a difference.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Particularly if the length of the LIGO's arms are specified, so we can tell him what they are in feet, and he's working it out in miles, so he could be out by huge amounts and you
Yeah.
won't notice it. So, yeah. We'll see what else he goes on with.
Would have to be less, right, than 3.52 miles. So if we use a triangle calculator, right, in here,
You have to
we
use
go
a
to
triangle
triangle
calculator.
calculator, right? A and B,
Sorry.
right?
It's right.
A and B.
I thought you said it was a right angle
2.5
triangle.
miles.
What's
Yeah, it is.
why does he need one?
3.5355.
And
It sounds familiar, doesn't it?
That is a straight line distance.
And the thing is, it's not exactly. I don't think it's exactly 2.5
He's
miles.
only got,
Either.
I know. It's only miles to 1 decimal place. I mean, like, that's
Yeah.
nowhere near the accuracy he needs.
No, I mean, given that they are 4,000 meters long, and I assume that's exactly 4,000 meters long, or at least to a very, very high degree, 4,000 meters long. Yeah, I mean, 2.5 miles, okay-ish. If you're going for a run and you want to know roughly how far you've gone.
You going to say Blue?
They are exactly 13,100 feet. That is 2.481 miles.
There you go.
I get 13,200 feet, but let's not quibble over 100 feet.
Well, you got it wrong.
I'm only measuring off the long sections that we had. So that's what they had on the long sections. The control points were 13,200 long. Yeah. Well, that's what I typed in. I typed in one at 13,200, a change of 50. It may be beyond the end of the station. I don't know, but that's the control.
I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was still on the pad. But the way he positioned his thing, there's no way he can get that an accurate measurement because it was.
Hell no.
Drew off, it was sort of a way off from where the actual arms are. Yeah. Anyway.
So what Google Earth is giving us, right, is like what is not a curved distance, because if it was a curved distance, then it would have to be greater than 3.5355 miles, because that would be a chord through a circle, because the chord line would have to be less in length than the curved distance over it. But this is actually giving us what it would actually be. And as I said, I probably wasn't as precise as I should have been, but it doesn't matter because even though it's 3.52 miles, the actual distance is 3.5355. So it's actually more than what I showed. Whereas it should be less. Because if this is 3.52 miles and this is a curved distance, and I just showed it's exactly the same if I just use the surface of the Earth, or if I used from one end to the other, it's still because there's all this is all the Earth in between it. I showed that the both of them are 3.52 miles, right? Sorry. Right.
Okay.
So
Good.
it's not what I want. It doesn't matter. This is just annoying me now. Sorry. So the point I'm making is this: that would have to be a different. How you could make that a different length? It's obviously a triangle, right? That would have to be a different length. This length here, because that would be a curved distance. So the chord line would have to be less than that. But I just showed what the chord would be. It would be 3.5355 miles. This means that there
Where do you
is no
suddenly get that
chord
accuracy
attachment
from?
underneath any of this. There can't be, because I just showed what has to be the chord length distance.
No, you didn't.
And I just measured it both ways using Google of what it would be. And as I said, I wasn't even as precise as I should have been. But
Not
if I
even
was
close.
precise, I would have got 3.5,
No, you wouldn't
355. I got 3.52, right? So it was actually what I came up with as a measurement along the surface of Earth was actually slightly less than what a chord line distance would be. So there's no way that the Earth can be a globe and LIGO exist. It's actually that simple, because the chord line would have to be less in length to make the right angle triangle between the two arms of LIGO.
Oh dear.
But it's not.
It's a bit sad, isn't it?
As I said, I was actually slightly out. I wasn't as precise
Slightly,
as I
yeah.
but it's actually 3.5, 3.5, as opposed to 3.52. That's the end of that. LIGO
Let's
proves
see.
the Earth
First, you
cannot be a globe.
measure with a
flat
micrometer, mark it with a crayon, and cut it with a chainsaw. Is that how you do it, Brian?
Do you do it,
Jesus
apparently?
Christ!
I think I've got. Hang on. Let me see if I can pull this up or not.
I want to show you something funny.
Yeah, yeah. You want to show it? Share? Should we go for it?
Let me see if I
Let
can.
me run back to Zoom.
Uh-oh. I can't share.
Can't share. Oh, that's me. Hang on. I'll fix it. I have the power. I got to get it so it shares all the time. There you go. Go for it.
Wonder why Brian doesn't do, let's see. What do you want to share? Oh, window. Let's see. Share that. You see my Google Earth?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Brian, I hope you're watching, Brian. Pay attention. Let's do something here. Let's see if I can draw a circle. Wait a minute. What's happening to my Google Earth?
It's going slow. It's there.
Well, it's not letting me get into the. Something's gone wrong with Earth.
Restart it. Restart it, maybe.
Yeah, it can play up a little bit.
Yeah, restart it, maybe.
Let me see if I can restart it properly.
While he's doing that, Alan, you got to change.
Yes, mate.
You got to change your image pictures because you keep showing every time you flick to gravestones, and it just worries us.
We were wondering if you were trying to hint at something that this is my grave or something at one point.
No, they're just they're just interesting things to photograph that I can reach while I'm in my wheelchair, while I'm in the village, without getting stuck. It's like over the winter, I couldn't photograph the overwintering ibises that we had because they were too far up a farm track that was either a quagmire or was so bumpy when it was frozen rock hard that it was more painful than I was willing to accept. I think people would like Blue and Matt to turn down their mics a little bit.
Huh?
Okay.
Well, I think mostly it's because Brian always has his audio very low in his videos, so people are turning everything up to hear him, and then when we speak, it's too loud for them.
So it's me and Blue, is it? Okay.
I'll just move the mic further away. That's easy.
Yeah, same.
So, okay, I got it working again now.
All right.
Can you share my screen?
It is sharing. We can see it.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me this, Brian. I've drawn a circle on Google Earth with a radius of 3,001.3 miles. What would the circumference of that circle be? Anybody?
17,087 miles.
Well, you might think that. Let's see. Wait, let me get my calculator running here.
You're not using spherical pi, are you, Timbo?
3001.3.
Why is that so, man?
You're not using spherical pi, Timbo.
No, I'm not. I'm using
No,
the
it's 'cause
fact
you
that
can read 'cause it says it on the screen. It says it right there on the screen. Yeah.
Using the math that we would normally use for a flat circle, Brian, the circumference ought to be 18,857.72 miles. How come it's only 17,000 miles?
In Google Earth.
Ooh.
Because it's not flat.
Whoops.
Whoops.
It's not a plane
Oopsies.
with that radius.
Oopsies. Yep. Houston, we got a problem.
Yes.
Or Brian has.
Well, Brian does. Brian has several. I was going to say, the thing that I found funny is how he couldn't. You guys should be able to see. I've got Google Earth too. Well, it's the same Google Earth. How hard would it have been for him to just zoom in here and do that same measurement on the actual building at the same point and turn it into feet? That's the bit I couldn't get. Rather than over here, which is where he took it. That's how hard it is. You can even then check that in feet, and he could have checked the actual feet distance. Yeah, not tricky at all. You went here about last week, were you, Matt?
I wasn't here on Wednesday.
Last Wednesday, yeah. So.
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't here.
This is LIGO. I took all the elevations from the elevation profile and put them into my system and then exported them out. So this is actually 270 points to make up this line. But then exported it so you could see what it looks like on the globe. And as you can see, it looks awfully straight, doesn't it? But when you look at the profile, Google Earth. When you look at the profile in something else. Oh, sorry, why isn't that showing up? Probably because it doesn't like me. It's being mean. Let's change it to that. There we go. There you go. You can see that. That's what the profile looks like if you take those same elevations and do it per the levels that it got on the works plane. It's curved, but we know it's straight. So those are the same levels that I've used to form that same. Being mean to me. That same line. So if the levels are curved, but I put them into the earth and they're straight, what's it tell you? The profiles are not using the earth curve. But when I put the earth curve, they're right. Okay. Well, that's Brian. He's fun stuff, isn't he? Well, we put on some Lindsay Bingo, do you think? Unless anyone's got any other comments for Brian.
I've got something that's completely unrelated to Brian.
Go for it.
Did you get my message?
Where did you send? Where did you send it?
Don't worry, it doesn't matter because I've got it open anyway. I can share
Okay,
it.
you can just share it. It'll come through.
Good. Yeah.
I'll just put up. Zoom.
Let me know when you can share it. See it. Okay.
It's up on the screen. Go for it.
Okay. So yeah, this is kind of just started doing the rounds just recently about this guy called Dmitry Rogozin, and he was the Director General of Roscosmos from up until fairly recently, until December of 2022, or from 2018 to 2022. Now I don't know if you remember, but he's the same guy that, if you remember, he said that. He basically threatened European Space Agency and NASA and the United States that he was going to, pull out of the ISS and leave an American astronaut stranded. Do you remember? And he would deorbit the ISS, so it would crash somewhere in the United States or Europe or something like that. Do you remember that? Well, this is the same guy. Okay, so he's now started saying just recently that he doubts the moon landings completely. And of course, because him being the ex-boss of Roscosmos, it sounds like it's got a bit of credibility. But when you look into it a little bit deeper, it's a bit, it's a bit more dubious than that. And actually, he has very little credibility. When he was appointed in 2018, he was also the former deputy PM for Putin. And he's an ultra nationalist, Russian nationalist, far right wing alt kind of person. He formed an ultra right wing group based in Moscow and made different racist adverts and things like that, and used color people as as the kind of the target and things like that, all kinds of things like that. So anyway, so when he said those things about the ISS, Putin sacked him after that, and there was no real reason. There was nothing official as to why it came out why he was sacked, whether that was because he said those things, but probably did, because I think even that was even bonkers, even by Putin standards. So this guy basically has said that when he joined as the general secretary, the general director of Roscosmos in 2018, he apparently did some searching for evidence of NASA's moon landings, 1969 to 72, but he says he couldn't find any. But when you look a little bit deeper into it, in his article, he said all this on Telegram, is that he publicly challenged a couple of Russian scientists about all this, but he provides absolutely no evidence whatsoever, nothing that he supposedly did any of this. I mean, there's been no research or anything like that into it. There was no investigation, although now it looks like the Flirts are actually presenting this. It's kind of like, this is like the official coming out of Russia. Well, he's not, because he was sacked and he doesn't hold any official position now. But what he's ended up doing now is that he is in Ukraine presently, and he's become something of a self-appointed kind of anti-NATO, anti-American, anti-Western sort of propagandist, if you like. He was recently injured while he was in Ukraine as well, and he's there on the basis that he's trying to get basically weapons into Ukraine, and that's basically his kind of job, but as a volunteer. But since he was sacked by Putin, he's never been given an official position. So I wanted to sort of like highlight this because haven't really Leo actually did a video on it, but you can guarantee there's some people are going to start bringing this up just recently. It's really just come out, really, to be honest. But yeah, this arsehole basically is saying that he said there was no proof. The reason why he didn't find any evidence because nobody gave him any evidence. He only sort of came out with it publicly and publicly challenged the scientists, but nobody gave him anything. So therefore, there is no evidence, is what he's saying. So that's basically all it is. So I just wanted to sort of let you guys know in case you sort of come across this at some point, because you probably will, I'm sure.
I've seen that a few Flirts have put up, but they haven't actually done any proper explanation. I think I saw one
No.
saying top Russian cosmoport says space is fake, which isn't what he said at all. But
Oh God, is he getting worse than that? Or is he really getting Chinese whispers now? Is he saying that it's space is fake? Jesus Christ, started already. So I mean, this guy. I mean, another thing as well was when he was appointed general director of Roscosmos. I mean, the guy had no experience, no qualifications, no knowledge of rockets or space travel or anything like that at all. Nothing, zero, zilch. And he was also, when you look at when he was born, he was 5 years of age at the time of Apollo 11. I mean, like, really, how much credibility has he really got? On his motivation for saying this is pretty obvious, isn't it? He's very much. If you look through his telegram and you do some translations, it's very, very anti-NATO, anti-American, anti-British, anti-anything Western. So, so why is it taking him this long from the time he was supposedly did these things in 2018 up to 2022, and he's only just bringing it forward now? Why? Yeah. I don't think he's got much credibility at all, to be honest with you, just because he was a boss. It doesn't make him qualified to make these kind of judgments at all. So, yeah. So if you come across it, that's basically the background story of it. He's not. There's no credibility with this guy saying these things. He's provided no evidence. He can't prove anything. Even if he did he said that he did some research and he tried to search for evidence, but I don't think he really did at all. I think he just came out publicly and challenged a scientist one day that happened to be on a radio in Moscow or something like that, and that's about the height of it. But he's claiming that he kind of did an investigation, but he did nothing of the sort. Yeah. So, but as I said, this is not official coming out of Russia. I mean, the way that Leo was putting it across, level of observer, was almost like, this is what the Russians think. No, it's not what the Russians think at all. And I think that's probably why Putin sacked him. One of the reasons as well. Anyway, there's that, and also him threatening to deorbit the ISS as well. Probably had part to do with it.
Yes, it's
the guy's an arsehole, complete arsehole. Really is horrible man.
Yes.
Anyway, that's it.
Yeah, he didn't sound like a pleasant guy.
No, ultra right wing nationalist kind of type.
Yes. Because the reason why I looked into it was initially it was the other cosmonaut that supposedly had said they didn't go into space or something or other, and that was.
Oh, you see, that's another one. That's another cherry pick, right?
Yeah.
If obviously because it was in Russian, not everybody knows exactly what was said.
That's what I think.
Right, but yeah. Well, I'm going to have to find the video about it. But there was a guy a Russian speaker, did a video on it, and he explained it. And the whole interview basically was about his experiences. It's the same situation they did with Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah.
And if you look when he's asked the question, you see the look on his face is where he's smirking. He was joking, basically. He's being sarcastic. Oh yeah, it's flat. But the thing is that when people tried to translate it, it was kind of lost in translation as well. So he didn't actually say completely what he said, and certainly not on that context. And of course, they've cherry picked the whole flipping thing as well. It's ridiculous.
That was
he never said it was faked. He never meant it, at least anyway. He might have been sarcastic, but that's about all.
That was what I was noting. They were just using transcripts, and unless you actually speak Russian and get the context of what he's saying, it's a bit hard to tell.
Yeah, same thing with that that child interviewing Buzz Aldrin. You need to look at the whole thing, and then you'll understand. And he's not going to talk about his experience as a cosmonaut, and then all of a sudden say, "Oh, it was all fake." Is he? Let's be honest.
Right.
So,
well, I think it's that cup of tea time for those that partake whose first cup of tea have run out. So,
I've just had one.
You just had one.
I haven't finished this one yet.
That means
I haven't finished this one yet.
That means you've got to pay attention, then, Matt.
Oh, do I have to?
Yes. The Lindsay time. Oh. Lindsay Bingo. I've just posted it out. And go on. You got something else, Alan?
I was just going to say the link doesn't work properly in YouTube chat, does it?
Which one? The one I just put up?
The bingo link, because it doesn't add the code on the end.
Ah, yes, you may need to copy and paste that. I don't know why it's not putting the proper link, but I mean, let me go there manually, copy it back. So let's try this. See if that makes any difference. There you go. There, that one works. So, if you want to go and play Lindsay Bingo, use that link. Sorry, I pasted it into here. Oh no, the one that's in the YouTube chat should work for you guys. And we now 4x4, and it's 4 in a row. So any direction, horizontal, vertical, or diagonal.
Oh, 4 in a row now. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I added more names, and I thought that might make a bit more. It's a bit hard to get 9, so just try and get 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Now I've got to remember to drag this off so I can see my own chart before I push play. There we go. We all set? How long is this one? So we've got about 10 minutes, so it's not a hugely long one.
Oh, good. That's about a good length.
Yeah. And I'll put it on Lindsay speed as we go.
Good.
Welcome, people. Welcome to the Tomb of Illumination. Everything's flat earth here. It's the whole description, the physics, the geometry, all the science involved with understanding the flat earth, what you've never been taught. So this is the place to come. It's the only place you'll find the whole working system, how and why it works. And it's all based on a godly system, unseen, just like the magnetic field, unseen. We have a place of inaccessibility, which is called the Arctic
Magnetic
Centre.
field.
We can't get to it.
I don't know.
We
that
have
one.
the magic involved with the tropical gap, the
Oh,
gap
got that.
between the
Oh, there you
two
go. Good.
Oh, don't know
counter
that one.
rotations.
I do.
Some people might understand the magic involved with what goes on between the counter rotations, what they call the wormhole. It's basically the black hole,
Oh,
or the
black hole.
dielectric in what we know in science.
I got dielectric.
It's a magical realm,
Black hole.
but science shies you away from this, understanding this, because the people at the top who control all the technology and everything, they know the secrets in these systems. So telling you that an earth ball is spinning around the sun is taking you away from the dual system, the counter forces, the duality
Did you say
of these
celestial gap?
opposing
Duality? No.
rotations you can see in the night sky if you
Oh,
film
okay.
towards the tropical celestial gap. You will see the 2-star rotations, counter forces,
Oh, he has
counter
now.
rotations. Well, that tropical
Yes.
divine gap is the most divine thing in our existence. And I try to express all this in our earthly creation.
But you keep saying the sun is, and then
But anyway, that aside,
all those other things
I
are.
don't know why I went off on that track, but anyway, this video is about understanding the expansion of the toroidal field that flows over Earth. Understanding, trying to get a grip on why there is a Mercator map and why there is a Gleason map. What's the difference and why are they associated? And they are associated. They go hand in hand. But you have to understand the system. You have to understand Earth is the plane of inertia, fixed and stationary, because it's been created from the place of rest, stillness, peace.
Hidden knowledge.
And what's
It's a plane
associated
of
with
inertia.
that?
I've got a state of
Meditation.
inertia.
The human
Yeah,
brain
I'll
has to go
count,
there
I'll count
too,
that.
to get to a
Yeah,
special
I'll count
place.
too.
I'll count
Well,
that.
Earth is a special place. And it's been created from that place of rest, which is the black hole. There's nothing going on in the black hole. That's why
Ooh,
Earth
black
is
hole,
fixed and
black hole.
stationary. But all
We
the
get black
action
hole
and
already.
the
Black
counter
hole.
forces
Damn it.
are around its perimeter, which is the flowing toroidal field, the magnetic field of Earth. And the magnetic field of Earth is hidden in the wind. So the wind needs hot and cold temperatures to drive the wind, seeking out each other, forever moving. If you had a complete worldly ice age, then the world wouldn't work. Nothing would exist. There'd be no movement. There's no flow, no wind. What would drive the winds if there's just all the one temperature, just cold?
It's not what a
Our
nice
whole
energy is.
existence is in a dual system. You need the hot and cold.
There's only two
Well, we-
temperatures, hot and cold.
South Pole, North Pole, positive, negative, day, night, woman, man. And while we have a book called the Bible, B-I, gap, B-U-double-L. B-U-double-L.
Oh, what? That's
basically
a stretch.
expansion.
Jesus
Expanding on a lot of things.
Why is he really making
out
out?
from the centre north.
He's talking about
Your
cables
divine
now.
awakening.
I
You
know.
expand in your knowledge.
Yeah, talking about
refer
stretching it, Jesus
refer to a lot of
Christ.
things, but you've got bi being dual, a dual system. And Earth is a dual system. We're in a duality. We have a positive and a negative.
Hey,
What's
duality,
between
yeah.
hell?
Yeah, me
What's
too.
between heaven and hell? The flat plane of inertia. Earth. Earth consists of heaven and hell. So this is where you have choices. You can dwell in a heavenly state of consciousness, or you can dwell in a hell state of consciousness. Heaven's up here, up your mountain in Jerusalem, or you can hang out down there at the dung gate, your sacrum, in your hell. And this is what raising your Kundalini is, or raising your Christ. It comes up out of hell, up to your mountain. This is what you have to do. Raise it up to a state of consciousness where you understand all truth and know the lies. I know the lies. I understand the truth and I know the way. This is why I explain it all in my videos. So
Making up as you go along, though.
that's a big preamble. Now we're going to talk about the expansion, the bull, understanding a Gleason map. Look, all the arcs of longitude expanding out from the centre. These globe earthers, they're just in a la la land, a state of darkness consciously. They're always going over this, saying it's not true because the continents are all distorted. Well, they're only distorted to match the arcs of longitude. They have to be distorted. You follow the arcs of longitude, you still get your GPS points in there if it's drawn properly, if you follow your arcs of longitude. So that's one way of looking at the Earth. But at the same time, you have to understand the Mercator map, and I'll show you that in a minute. Because no matter where you are from north to south, is all relative to the observer, to you. So every latitude is only relative to the person on that latitude. This is why Einstein and his cronies came up with the term, or the word relativity, because it's all relative to you. And general relativity is a curved linear coordinate system. So the globe, that's all the globe is. It's a coordinate system. So you can have the globe there, you can have your Mercator map, Gleason map there, and you can have your Mercator map there. They all go together. If you want your coordinate system that is over there, they've got it sussed, haven't they? Just because they've sussed out a coordinate system doesn't mean you have to be dwelling in dodo land and think you live on a spinning ball flying around the sun.
Except
If you're on one
distances work.
spinning ball flying around the sun, they're obviously trying to hide the dual system from you. And the magic that happens between that dual system. The dual rotations, the star trail rotations.
Yeah.
Only those with cameras will understand what I'm talking about. If you can do star trail photography. And time lapse.
Yeah, I can do
Time
that.
lapse will show you
So can
what's
do that
happening
too.
with the star or star tracker in the southern hemisphere, drifting west. But we can actually see that with our eyes. Everything's drifting west. But you need a
They don't
camera
drift
to spot
west,
these
they
star
rotate.
trails, which
They
is circular.
rotate, I know.
It's forever like this on your arc of horizon, your north to south horizon.
So when you look at them, it's different than
It's
when you
going like
film
that.
them,
But
apparently.
another camera, or if you didn't have that camera, you'd notice they're all drifting this way. So how can they all be staying there at the same time as they're all drifting that way? Well, check out my earlier
Did you
videos.
say metaphysics already?
No,
So here we have
it
it, guys. There's the
Didn't say
Gleason map.
metaphysics.
Every latitude,
As he
if you're
said,
on
hidden-
it,
hidden
it's all
knowledge.
relative to
He's
you. From there to
Nah.
there, it's all relative to you.
That's all
This
I need
person
for
back here,
bingo. I just
he's
need
shrunk.
that word.
That's all relative
Hidden
to
knowledge, and
him.
I got
I
it.
need,
So this is another way of looking at
I
it.
need
As you move
vortex
from the centre north,
or
this is
North
the event
mythology.
horizon
for,
science calls it, because we
thinkers.
can't get out of our earthly realm.
Or Northern
We
Hemisphere.
can't get into the zone. This is creation back here, above the Arctic, believe it or not. We cannot get right into the centre here. We don't know how big that is. That could be infinity there. No man has been there.
Did you,
Despite what they tell you,
you
it's called
say
a place of
vortex?
inaccessibility for a reason. It's right in the centre. You could say it was Mount Meru, whatever they want to call it, and then realise you've got the Luminosov Ridge. And ancient writings tell us that the ridge broke off and fell into the sea. This could be hundreds of thousands of years ago.
really?
So one day, maybe things will shift and that will rise back up out of the ocean. Then it's probably when we'll all be illuminated again. It's all related to the pineal gland of man coming out of water. Check out my earlier videos. So this is what's happening to man as he moves from the centre north out to the south. He expands in the ether. Everything expands in the ether, except Earth itself, because Earth is fixed and stationary. That is written, isn't it?
That's it.
Oh, that's the classic Ken.
He must have put a smaller SD card in.
He didn't mention Vortex, did he?
Nah, I needed Vortex.
Nah. I needed Vortex, Northern Hemisphere, or Norse mythology to
This is how close I got. Look, I just needed hidden knowledge. Look, that's all I needed.
Oh well, I'll show you what I need. Where did it go? I lost it. Where are we? This one. Hang on. I'll drop that back in there. If I had Vortex.
Oh yeah, hidden knowledge.
I didn't get Cold Fusion or hidden knowledge of Vortex. I might take Cold Fusion.
You just
off,
need.
So
you just needed hidden knowledge as well. We both would have got bingo if you got hidden knowledge.
Geez, Timbo, where did you learn to spell inertia?
Oh
my God.
In my head.
Oh.
It didn't tell me it was wrong.
there you go. That was mine.
Oh, well, that's all right. You're doing well.
Yeah, I thought I was doing well. Bugger. He stopped too quick though.
Yeah, he might have got it if he kept his video going. Oh dear. Where did I'd have to look up inertia. I'll just make in a note that inertia is spelled wrong and I'll make it right next time.
Very wrong. Very wrong. There's a few other good ones there too, Timbo.
I've got letters in there. Like
dielectric. It's dielectric. D-I-E-L-E. So not dielectric.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that was dire. It's very dire when you listen to him.
Dire. Your spelling's very dire.
Yeah. Good thing I was never in your class.
I know.
Come back with all this red all over all my papers. Red. Yes.
I am so glad that I have spell check turned on in everything I possibly can, and pay attention to the little red squiggly lines.
Yes. Well, yes.
But I know that doesn't. But I know that doesn't work for everybody, because my daughter has dyslexia. That means that when she looks at it works if it only gives her one option of spelling. But if there's multiple options of spelling, she says, well, they all look the same. So which one do I pick?
I wrote as phonetics. Well, that tombstone doesn't have any name on it.
Are you going to follow that up with some more derp, Timbo, or do you want something a little bit intellectual to bring everyone's IQ back up a little bit?
Well, I was going to say, since we've got two quizzes, do you want to we'll split them up a little bit? Do you want to do one now?
Yeah, I'll do the music one now, if you like, the lyrics one. That way you can bring your IQs back up just a little bit.
Right. Share whenever you like, mate.
Yeah, okay. I'll go to my screen and I'll pick share.
I'll just put up this just in case you put up the wrong thing. So they can't see out there. No, we're good.
No, it's all right. So can you see that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. There we go.
I'll explain what. So take good note of this title screen, because there are some clues in there. While I explain what you're going to do. What I'm going to do is present you with the opening lines of some very well-known songs. And the first clue you get is just going to be the first letter with blank spaces, like I use in my name. The second clue is going to be the same thing, except the first letter of each word will be highlighted. The third clue will be the first and last letter of each word will be highlighted. The fourth clue will be a visual clue in the form of an image, and then you'll get the answer. You get 10 points if you get it on the first clue, 5 if you get it on the second clue, 2 if you get it on the third clue, only 1 point if you need the picture to get it, and none if you don't get it at all. All right? Okay, so let's go to the first one.
Can I just say, those out in the peanuts, you might want to make sure you speed up your tube so that you get it as fast, because otherwise you might be a bit behind. Okay, Paul, sorry. Start whenever you like.
Okay, so this is the first one. So it's just the opening line of a very well-known song. It could be from 40 years ago. It could be from just recently. But it's certainly a well-known song. So have a look at that for 30 seconds or so and see if you know what the clue, what the opening line actually is.
Is that a capital I? I take it is.
It's a capital I, yeah.
It's got to be I'm something. I'm in love.
Right, so now I'm seeing as no one's got it yet, I'll go to the second clue. So now you get a few more letters. So remember, it's the opening line of a very well-known song. What do you think?
Oh, so it's not necessarily the title then.
It's not necessarily the title of the song.
Yeah.
It's the opening lines, the opening lyrics. Okay.
In time, maybe in time.
The rough love.
In time, the rest.
No,
don't know.
Still haven't got it. All right. So now you get the last letter of each word.
Real love. Is this the real love?
Is this the real what?
Love or life?
Is this the real life?
Is this the real life?
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go. That clue would have given it away.
Is
Because
this
Oh,
the
Bohemian
real
Rhapsody.
life?
That's the
Is
one.
this just fantasy?
Yep, that's the one. Okay.
Oh.
So now you know how it works. Okay. All right. So we go to the second one.
Oh, apostrophe at the end.
So those
blimey.
images,
I didn't-
all those images in the title screen were the bands that these songs are from. No?
No.
Need more?
Need more.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
First letter of each word.
I rest maybe. I rest the
That boy.
something on by. Don't know. Anybody?
Not yet. Oh,
No?
I'm trying to work out on
Okay.
or of.
I shall give you the last letters of each word then.
I read the news today. Oh boy.
Well
read
done,
that.
Matt. Well done.
I'm not sure what song that's from. Oh, the Beatles. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, song. Oh, yeah.
Well done.
I read the news today.
So,
Oh boy.
boy.
Yeah, good.
Trying to think of the tune though.
You should go on Wheel of Fortune. All right, third one.
How many points did I get for that, by the way?
You get 2 points for that one.
2. Oh, was that all?
Yeah.
Clive had that too. A few of them had that.
Good.
Up there. Keep an eye out for that.
Yep.
A day
Good.
in the life. Yes, one is out. Ooh.
Could be one, could be out.
Okay, I'll give you some more letters then.
Ooh. Man. What? It's a 3-letter word starting with M. May live
Something
as
out to
my love.
No.
No.
Need more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Righto.
Oh.
Old man, look at my love.
Life. Old
Life.
man, look at my life.
Do you know what the next words are after that, Matt?
No. I'm just guessing.
Do you know
Not a
who
clue.
sang it?
No.
Nope.
I have no clue.
Old man life.
I'm just going by the clues. That's all.
Would you know now?
Harvest something.
No.
Come on, the peanuts have got to know this. So I'll wait for the peanuts. I know there's a
Look at my
delay there.
life.
Yeah, there
I'm
you
a
go.
lot
Oh
like
man,
you.
look at my life.
Well,
Neil Young.
is it
Yeah.
Trinity?
Oh,
man.
okay.
Look at my life. I'm a lot
Don't-
like you were.
Oh, right.
That's
Yes.
I
yeah.
still don't know.
All right.
That's okay.
Next one.
Next one. Hershey bars
Oh,
are
that's
good
gonna
for
be
you. Could be anything. Yet.
Happy, maybe.
Happy? Happy's a good start. Happy anniversary to the wildebeest.
I don't think anniversary fits in there. All right, I'll give you a few more letters. I'm guessing Farmer's Boy would hate this.
I'm sure he would.
It's not Fleetwood Mac, is it?
He would hate this particular one. Wow. I have to
Got it.
give the points to Nerd Alert.
Oh, hello, darkness, my old friend.
Sound of silence.
Oh,
Well done.
Cool.
Well
Very good.
done,
Nerd
Nerd.
alert.
Yes.
Nice.
There you go. Yeah, that was indeed it. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Darkness, my old friend.
You wake me up
All
once
right.
again.
Next one. Come on, I want someone to get it on the first clue.
Some
Well, that's going to be a bit hard on some of us dyslexics, isn't it?
Just a tad.
it's sort of yeah. I can make
All
up some
right.
guesses, but oh,
And Carl Edwards gets the
a
points
long
this
time
time.
ago.
Yeah.
A long, long time ago. Yeah, something to show.
Yeah, well
What's
done.
next
Carl.
one?
American
American
Pie.
Pie.
That's it. Bye,
Yep.
bye, Miss America.
That's
Yeah.
the one.
I drove my ship
Yeah.
to the levee.
Okay.
The levee was dry.
This one would appeal particularly to the
Yeah.
first.
We ain't got no education.
Yes, that's got to be it.
That doesn't fit, Timbo.
We
We don't need no education.
That is it. Well
Uh,
done. Yes.
We don't need. Yeah, Pink Floyd, The Wall.
No education.
That was kind of a joint effort between me and Timbo because he almost had it.
Yeah.
well, I worked out what it was, but just didn't get the letters.
I'm taking the 10 points for that though.
Yes.
You can have them. It's fine. I'll let you have them.
Well, we can't share 10 points, can we? You know.
No?
If it gets
Okay.
too thing, I'll just kick you out of the chat. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
Oh, this is a hard one. To the
wall
something.
baby. Maybe
To the.
not wall, but it could be to the. I would say it's to the. Loving is
It's a hard one.
No. Listen to
No,
the
not loving.
wind, baby. I'll be like wind.
Listen to the wind blow. Come on.
Blow.
Yes.
Just a
Good
little
on
bit,
you.
yeah.
By who?
By who? Hell, I don't know.
Oh, come
that
on.
Dylan?
Come on.
Don't know who that would have been
Bob
by.
Dylan.
Bob
Not
Dylan.
Bob
that's-
Dylan.
He wrote all the songs,
Oh,
didn't he?
come on.
I don't know. I don't know. Oh, well, I don't know. That
Who's
is.
that?
That's a scary photo.
Who's that? Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
which band is it? Come on.
Don't know who that is.
Oh, all this answer comes up every week in the quiz. And yet-
Fleetwood
Fleetwood
Mac.
Mac.
Is that Fleetwood Mac? Is it? Oh, Fleetwood Mac. All right, okay.
all right.
Too high.
Hmm.
I've got to
A longer
move that
one.
to
That's hard.
letters.
That's hard. That one.
Trust. No, in.
Is
So I gather that Ed
Is
and
it
I were
Henry-
actually
Hi.
New Orleans. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
well done.
There is-
Ah,
yes.
There is
Leslie.
a
There's a house
yes,
on Earth.
that's it. Yeah, there's a house in New Orleans. Yeah, I was
Yes.
just thinking of it when he said it.
Yeah.
And I saw
Yep.
it, Carl.
Yep, that's the
Yeah.
one by who?
Oh, I can't remember the animals.
The animals.
it
That's
is,
right.
just-
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've got my
Yeah.
family joining in behind me, by the way. They're looking over
Okay.
my shoulder, looking at these. They're all having a go.
Where?
Oh, good,
Where?
good.
No, nothing yet. Has anyone else managed null points? Probably. What I win.
Moist. When I feel moist.
No.
That doesn't quite fit either, anyway. When I felt.
When I find myself in times
No.
of trouble.
That's the one. Well
Oh,
done. Turing
nice.
Test 2. Turing test 2. Well
Turing test.
when I
done.
feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Turing test 2.
When I
got it.
find myself in times
Felt
of
in
trouble.
times of
by
trouble,
Who? By who?
yeah.
By who?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
The
the Beatles.
Yeah, they,
Yeah.
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 them again.
Yeah.
In times of trouble,
Mary
Mary
comes to me,
to me. That's it, yeah.
speaking words of wisdom. Oh, I don't get this one at all.
Trying to concentrate. What we
If
got?
I
What is
sing
this?
the songs and lyrics of other songs, you'll never get it.
Jesus, I had no idea you guys couldn't sing.
Oh, I knew I couldn't sing.
I can go
I know I'm not
on
allowed to
you.
sing.
On a days, no.
On days, on a
It could
day.
be number
I
days.
don't know, on a date, no.
on a dog.
Harvard. Dark.
Or
No,
with
no.
Damp Jerry Dale. No.
We can hear the people in the background if they can get it. We can get it, Matt.
Yeah.
He's got Matt's got a brain trust.
I had two people working with me.
You
just a
need
minute
more
ago.
letters?
Oh, hold on.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we do.
I thought it was dark, but
Dark.
dark,
On a dark.
dark, dreary. Yeah, no. On a dark.
No.
Dark
Come on.
something.
I can't believe you haven't got it.
Oh, I feel like I should be staring.
On a
at
dark
good.
desert highway.
Oh,
Yes.
Full
that
wind in
one.
my
Dark
hair.
Desert
Ah.
Highway. Oh, was that?
Yeah.
yes.
Was that though?
The Eagles, Hotel California.
Oh, the Eagles.
Hotel
Hotel
California.
California. That's
Yeah.
it. Oh no way! You should have had that.
Yeah.
I don't
And there
know
you
the
go.
second line.
That was that. That was
Well
just
done,
10
Paul.
of them.
That was good fun.
There you go. All right. So there you
That was
I've got a whole 4 points. Yay!
go. Oh, well, what'd you think of that? Was that a little bit of fun?
Yeah, yeah.
That was.
I was going to say we should make Blue sing just because he can show us how it's done. Then Blue.
Oh, hell, I can't sing.
I used to sing in church, believe it or not. I used to even lead a few groups. Anyway, that was a while ago.
but then-
I just
Go on.
I just assumed the legally not being allowed to sing was a carryover from Terry's streams anyway. So
No,
But-
I don't mind singing on here. I can always mute you. Too bad. A little bit of tune. What else we got? I got some more derp here somewhere. Just finding my running sheet. Apparently I've got one here. I found someone was thinking they could have Professor Dave's Professor Phil Bell's Flat Earth Challenge. Let's just say this is more annoying than Brian, so we might have to take this with a grain of a bit of a warning.
It's pretty hard to get more annoying than
It
Brian.
is.
Okay. I might skip a few of it because I just found it a bit hard. Let's go. Sorry, I've got to put it out there first. Makes it a bit easier if you can see what I'm looking at. There we go. See, aren't you annoyed already? Let me get past that.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
I'll turn it down, it was a bit loud.
All right.
Alrighty, I
Keep
love Flat Earth Challenge.
My assertion, and hence challenge, is that no flat earther can accurately calculate the distance between two places on Earth with different longitudes and latitudes using their longitude and latitude or GPS coordinates without using spherical geometry. So here is the challenge. Consider two ports A and B and their longitude and latitude coordinates. Coordinates to airport A is 0 degrees, 27 minutes, and 15.46 seconds west. And 51 degrees, 28 minutes, and 12.07 seconds north.
Oh, that
Heathrow.
must be Heathrow in the UK. Damn, that was very difficult.
Coordinates for airport B is 33 degrees, 56 minutes, and 50.45 seconds south, and 151 degrees, and 10 minutes, and 45.94 seconds east.
Oh, that
Kingsford
must be
Smith in
Kingsford
Sydney.
Airport in Australia. Damn, you have some pretty damn difficult challenges.
Now firstly, where are these two airports?
Yeah, where are they? Moron. Look how this idiot looks from his eyes. He's a kind of deluded. Moron.
Right.
So you have more
Okay.
challenges?
Secondly, without using spherical geometry, calculate the distance between these two airports to the nearest mile, showing all of your work, formulas and calculation steps. And by the way, over 500 miles out is not considered to be accurate.
So 499 miles would be more or less accurate. So if you're 500 miles out, then you are just a retard and don't know how to calculate the distances.
In fact, it's wildly wrong. Third, explain why it's possible for anyone with a minimal knowledge of spherical geometry and trigonometry to use this knowledge together with the longitude and latitude coordinates to calculate the accurate distance between two ports on Earth. In conclusion, one of the most important processes needed to accomplish successful celestial navigation is the ability to use your longitude and latitude coordinates and that of a known landmark or position to calculate your distance to that landmark or position. No flat earther can do that without using spherical geometry such as Haversine or Vincenti formulas.
Haversine formula, you say? That got nothing to do with some sphere. It's called the Great Circle Calculator. You know what circles are?
No.
You can have circles on a flat Earth and also on a globe Earth. You understand that?
Yep.
Yep. That's what he
Oh my
says he's going to do.
Calculate distances. Adapted from the Great Circle Calculator.
Which uses spherical
Circle.
Exactly.
Yes, on a
Yeah.
globe
Yeah.
Or a flat round map.
What a moron.
So, these are not circles. And we cannot calculate distances between any point by using some formula. Okay.
Because it's impossible. It's impossible because Earth is not flat. My prediction is that no flat earther will take up this challenge because, as I said earlier, it's impossible on flat Earth. The very fact that it cannot be done on flat Earth proves that flat Earth is absurd. I predict this debunk of flat Earth will be ignored just like the many other debunks I have taken. Once again, the silly flat Earth hypothesis, together with the grift that celestial navigation works on flat Earth, is killed stone dead. If you still think Earth is flat after watching this video, then evidence has nothing to do with the reason you're a flat earther. By definition, you're a cultist. Well, that will do this for now. I look forward to your comments, and please also click on the like and notification buttons. I'll see you very shortly in the next video. Cheers.
Okay, Professor, let's do some math. To calculate distances on this map, you need to change the radius. We need to double it. So that would be 12,740 kilometers in radius. Let's do some calculations. So first we convert latitude and longitude of the two locations to Cartesian coordinates. And now we use the Pythagorean theorem and use a radius of 12,740 kilometers, and that gives us a distance of 70,093 kilometers approximately.
So he hasn't explained why you need to double the radius.
No.
And his X and Y look like
That's
they're
close.
still in. That he's just converted to decimal degrees for latitude and longitude.
Yeah.
What the hell? Oh my god.
So how did he ended up with the his numbers down the bottom? Does that add up? Don't tell me it just happens to fluke something close.
That's close.
Square meter, is that what's he doing? Nautical miles.
That's only a couple of miles. We double the radius. Oh look, on Google Globe, 17,015 kilometers.
Hang on a sec, I just want to check. What did you say the final answer was? Oh, 17,092. Okay, sorry. Where were we? Somewhere there.
Heathrow, Kingsford. Oh look, on the square Mercator projection. 70,023 kilometers.
What's he doing now?
He's using
I don't know
different
why
maps.
is he
See there?
using sun
I don't know.
visibility thing.
Maybe that's the only
Heathrow.
Mercator map he knows. I don't know.
I think you're a little bit confused. Did you
You
see?
are.
We can use both formulas and it gives a similar distance.
That one's going to be interesting. I might have to take a screenshot of that page and just do that math myself because it is a bit unusual. Where's my screenshot gone? I'll come back and do that. Okay. But yeah, I hadn't picked that up, Alan. But yes, he's just digitized the coordinates and then somehow gets that number. I still don't understand where he gets doubling the radius from. But anyway,
Because you got lucky.
maybe it just happens that there's no way he thought to double the radius. He probably got the number and then tried to find something close to the right number to times this by to end up with something close. Maybe.
Yeah. Go. Yeah.
The radius
It,
of
it,
what?
it really helps to know what answer you're going to want to get, doesn't it?
Yeah. The radius of what?
Because then you can do anything you like with the constant at the end.
Yeah.
So i.e., it turns out that you do that and double the radius gives you just about the right answer you're looking for. So
Yeah.
we'll double the radius. But as other people have said in the side chat, but that doesn't work if you pick two other airports.
It wouldn't work if you just picked from Sydney to Perth. It's even something closer. Okay.
Yeah. Or Heathrow to Norwich International. NWI.
Yeah.
So that we don't get Norwich in America.
We'll see what else he gets on.
Well, as long as I use the radius of the map itself, you understand that? Let me use the Hufferson formula on the
Why is
flat
he
earth map,
shouting?
or what
I
you
don't
call the
know.
flat earth map, with a radius of 12,740 kilometers. We can
Is he saying that is the definite radius of the Gleason map?
convert coordinates to radians. You know how to do that, right? And then we calculate the central angle and the calculated distance of a radius of 12,740 kilometers would be 70,178 kilometers. Heathrow, Kingsford, according to Bing, 70,020 kilometers. So, clown, I
What
use
is
2
Bing?
meters
Why is it?
and
He
Why
doesn't
is he
use Google.
using?
Go on.
Why is he using our? Why is he using why is he setting the radius to be twice what it should be?
Yeah. I can't work that out.
both came within your range of 500 miles. One calculation give me only a couple of kilometer difference, and the other calculation give like 150 kilometer difference with double the radius. I think you're just an imbecile. Maybe you have to move to an old people's home because you become senile.
Okay, I mean, if you got a door, right, and it has a nail hole in it, but the nail hole is real small, so that only really small insects can get in, like teeny tiny, like teeny tiny fruit flies, teeny tiny fruit flies.
What's this about?
God only knows.
Yeah, that looks. I don't get any of that. That's looks like just dead homs and rubbish. Don't bother with any of that.
Who is this person that we've been listening to?
Who is?
I don't know.
He is
Dutch or something.
QNFEs.
Oh, QNFE.
Yeah.
Ah,
Has anyone actually bothered to do that calculation?
No, yeah, that's what I was going to come back and.
I
try
would
it out.
encourage you. I would encourage you to do so.
So
Go on.
I'll just put that one back up.
On that note, I've got to head on, guys. I'll catch you another time.
Okay, mate.
Sorry about that.
You're right.
Yeah, bye. Bye.
Let's do this calculation. Sorry. What do we got? Okay. So, what's he say? He reckons that x1 minus x2. Sorry, just putting these in. So he's got 0.4126 and 51.4698. And he's got 151.1553 and minus 33.9399. Okay, if we go x1 is going to be supposed to be that one, so meant to be that one, minus, oh sorry, x2, sorry, do it right, x2 minus x1 should be 150.7143. Where's he get one? That's not the same for a start. Minus 33 minus that should be, that's not what he's got at all.
No, but what I'm saying is do the actual calculation that's in the second last line.
Oh, the second last line? Yeah, but what I'm saying is I'm starting from the first line and see where he's got 151.1753. That doesn't even match what the line above says. Yeah.
You're going to get a huge number.
2,206,986.39 kilometres.
That's what I got too, Alan, which is nothing like the answer he's got. Once again, Flurfs have proven to us that they cannot do maths.
Yeah. Oh, so.
Oh, dear. What an idiot.
Well, yeah.
Okay. I humbly apologise. I just naturally assumed that the Flurf had actually tried it and got the right, and that was the answer that he got. It's not hard to type it into a calculator, is it?
No, exactly. Which is exactly what I did. He's not even close. Oh my God.
Yes. That's not right at all.
Nowhere near.
No,
I
okay.
don't know
Well, there you
what
go.
calculations he's done, but
maybe he's just thought, I'll write this all out and then I'll just put a number here that's close. I don't know how he got to that at all. Unless he's done some conversion to me and assuming it's in millimeters or something. Even then, that's not going to be close.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Oh, and I disagree with his 12740 as well. That really ought to be 12742.
Yeah. But obviously that's
I'm not going to quibble over that.
It's not going to make any difference.
No, I know, but you know, he can't even correctly double the mean radius of the Earth.
Yeah. Occasionally, Professor Bill, I see Professor Rubin, make sure he's probably already covered that already. I don't know when this was put out. It was a day ago. So there you go. That would be fun.
Well, that's QFNE a day ago.
Yeah,
but...
yeah. I don't know when he put the challenge out. Yeah. Well,
a while ago, I believe.
Yeah. So we know. Well, what else have I got? That was fun. Thanks for finding that, Paul. I was going to come back to do that because I just had that feeling that there was something not looking right in what he had there.
Well, I mean, anyway, you just need to basically look at that and just do some quick mind calculations and round things off and do a quick in your mind calculation, and you know that he's not going to be anywhere near close.
Well, I was looking at the negatives and thinking that's going to be negative, and the fact that Alan pointed out that all he did was decimalize the longitude and latitude. It was just like, surely he didn't fluke a number that close.
Yeah. I mean, you know, because if he really had changed that to Cartesian coordinates, which is what he really wanted to do,
Yeah.
he would have had to have used 3 axes.
Yeah.
Well, nah, but of course he wouldn't, because he doesn't believe that the Earth is a sphere.
Well, you could have maybe done it if you converted from along a lat to a easting and northing, based on a sphere center, north of center. What do you call it? I'm trying to think of the name of that Cartesian coordinate system. But anyway, you could have possibly done it that way. Anyway, what else we got?
The thing GPS uses.
Yeah. But he wouldn't know how to do that. So let me put up a bit of Everett.
In the Bible, it is very clear what the earth looks like. The earth is flat.
Illogical. Please explain.
Did her hair just change?
Only humans can explain their behavior. Please explain.
You heard me, and I have proof.
No. No.
It is he who sits above the circle of the earth, and its inhabitants are like grasshoppers. Who stretches out the heavens like a curtain and spreads them like a tent to dwell in.
Gonna go on.
As we know, a circle is not a sphere, and we know that a tent has a flat surface with a dome.
I'm gonna beat him with my brains. That's right. I got more brains in my little finger than I do in my whole head.
He set the earth on its foundations so that it should never be moved, meaning we don't orbit.
No, that is not correct.
Let's talk a fully formed cloud as well. Fully formed clouds are completely flat on the bottom and are kind of fully formed in a dome.
Is that really a thing? Sounds made up. I take offense to that.
Pixar.
In science class, we learned that water gas takes up every surface that it inhabits.
Go home, science girl. I am home. Good, stay there.
So if our Earth was a globe, wouldn't they be like wrapped around in a circle?
Warning. An idiot has been detected in the immediate area.
But they're not. They're flat on the bottom and look like a dome on top.
Please disregard everything the idiot says.
Did you know that the Earth rests on a 66.6 degree tilt?
You know, I was thinking about that. And the thing is...
It doesn't.
I really don't care.
The plane of orbit around the sun is 66.6 degrees.
I am not, nor will I ever be interested. Go away.
The curvature of the Earth in 1 mile squared is 666.
She's gone? She's not gone. That's the whole point. She's never
The
gone.
polar circles located near the poles of the Earth are at 66.6 degrees north and south latitude. These are all mentioned in the heliocentric model of the Earth, which is what NASA and the government tell us to believe.
Now I'm telling these motherfuckers that if they continue killing our children to make their precious millions that they deposit in their secret Swiss bank accounts, I'll have their stinking bodies in garbage bags.
I would rather be looked at as a complete quack and believe that the Earth is flat.
What's that American expression? If the shoe fits, you must wear it.
Then believe that the Earth is round because NASA and the government told me to believe it.
Look at all those flies buzzing around your head. You're a mess, woman.
666, nice try, guys. I'm not falling for it.
Oh dear.
I have to say, I did love the episodes with Harcourt Phantom Mud in them in the original series.
All right, yeah. I didn't. I can't say I was watched a lot of the original series. I got to admit. Let's back up to here.
Well, you know, when I was a kid, it was the only option for Star Trek, wasn't it?
Did you see it? We didn't. I've only ever seen repeats. I got to admit.
Yeah, I've only ever seen repeats as well because I mean, it launched in the US the year I was born, and there were only 3 seasons of it. I don't think I was watching it when I was 3 years old.
No.
But the BBC did repeat. But the BBC did repeat it a lot.
I'm just trying to think. I think it was on too late when I was a kid. I didn't get to see much of it. I wasn't. Do you remember? There's a few other series that came out around the same time that which I was quite into, but not that one. What was the sorry?
Yeah.
Just sorry, catch you back up on the chat. I missed a couple of things, but.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. It's okay.
I think they used to put it on about 7 o'clock in the evening. So you know, once I was sort of 7 or 8, the parents would let me stay up and watch it.
Okay. I've got down here Wally. Wally put out a video recently.
Yeah.
Anyone watched it? Whoa,
yeah,
too loud,
I did.
Too loud.
It's I think interesting might be the right word for it. It's a discussion of that 500 post thread they did on that video.
Okay.
With Mike.
Oh, I might put that. Is that this one? Looks like it. Go back
That's
to
the one.
That's the one. Okay. Well, I'll put that on.
Let me tell you about a novel that Whatever and myself and little Mickey Jones wrote. 495 comments all in one thread. And I tell you what, that is a lot of Mickey derp. So there's a lot to unpack here, so strap in, sit back and relax. And if you have any fluids in your mouth, I advise you to have a cloth handy. Now I'm going to move through these screens fairly quickly, so hover that finger on the pause if you want to assault your brain with the full extent of the Mickey derp.
I'm below you and you're below me at exactly the same time.
Well, I started out talking to Bev and mentioning Starship to try and get his interest. Well, Mickey felt the need to have a pop at me. Mickey, I've spoken to you and Bev a few times, and I would say that I've never made a complete fool of myself. But as Mickey knows, running a dingo mart is demanding, requiring me to work 29 hours a day down at the mart, pay the owner permission to come to work, and when I get home, my dad kills me and dances about on my grave singing hallelujah. I try to tell him that, but he won't believe me. Well, Mickey does have a problem. Well, several in fact. But one is that he sucks at critical thinking. He can never tell when I'm yanking his chain or not. But he is good sport. He is a good sport. Well, this is so funny that Bev and Mickey keep telling me to join them in voice chat. Then remember that I have an exploded mind and they've blocked me. I guess I shouldn't have been correcting them every single day for 11 months. Well,
sorry guys, I just got something to deal with. I'll keep this going for a bit, but I'll be back in about a couple of minutes.
Mickey is not that great with numbers. We think it's his dyscalculia. Case in point, someone misplaced the decimal point. Luckily, Mickey has a job that doesn't need keen math skills. And Mickey has just been reminding us of his superior Ivy League education too. So at this point, Whatever decided to toss his hat into the ring too. Basically, just reiterating the Falcon Heavy facts for Mickey. Now, Mickey instantly goes into one of his favourite attack modes. Now, this is where he tries to divide and conquer by playing one opponent against another. And it never works. Mickey never fails to try it, and it always fails every time he tries it. Interestingly, Mickey right here nails the actual geometry of Bev's rocket problem. But he's so blinded by his own fantasy that he can't see the paradox that he's actually facing. This is, of course, only a paradox on a flat Earth. On a globe Earth, this matches the reality we observe quite well, and we can all see it. Now, Mickey just showed us his fail right there by using supposed. Now these are facts, not supposed at all. Prove the facts wrong, Mickey, then you'll have an argument to make. Selective cognitive veiling. Now this is too funny. It is yet another Bev made-up term. Selective cognitive veiling. It just means your mind won't let your conscious self think about something, and it veils it from your thinking. Then once again I hit Mickey with all the facts laid out logically just for him. He asked me to do this days ago, and that was his way of avoiding answering. He told me to make a claim formally and have it all laid out. So I did, just because I wanted to see him sidestep and make yet another avoidance. Mickey keeps trying the same old straw man. And still he persists. Note that he never tries to show which facts are incorrect, however. And he just lives in his own world here, and he believes he's humiliating us, telling us what we can't understand. Again with the wedgies, Mickey. Really? Now we have Mickey trying out his semantic game, where he sees some insignificant difference, points and loudly proclaims, "Aha, gotcha!" Mickey is certainly going to town on the horizontal or down thing, and whatever is having none of it, and I'm loving it. Mickey accidentally gets it. Well, for a moment anyway. He doesn't get, however, that the rocket is ascending at supersonic speed, literally. It will go from appearing and being down to horizontal to up in a fraction of a second anyway. Yet another lie by Mickey, and yet another attempted wedgie. What Blue actually said was this. Mickey asked the correct question, and whatever provided the correct answer. So I guess that is now a yes. Then again, this is Mickey, so I guess he'll just keep strawmanning. He spent days asking me to do this formally, and when I did, he stopped asking, but took absolutely no notice, and now he refuses to do the same when I ask him. I spoon-feed Mickey yet again. I just love that Mickey can identify the problem that the observation is showing. Well, the problem for Flat Earth, that is. The rakes to the face he takes is off the planet. I thought Mickey was a logical genius, and so writing out a debunk should be a snap for him, and yet he avoids it, unsure why. Whatever definitely gets it, and I wonder why Mickey can't. I just love it when Mickey asks a question that he clearly thinks is a gotcha, and yet the answer is super simple, barely an inconvenience. Yup. Yup, Mickey, I agree with whatever. Mickey is doing it again, saying something he thinks is a gotcha, but in fact shows he understands perfectly well. Well, maybe. Mickey, rockets just do this, and this is what we observe. And why is the word live way at the end? Put it where it belongs. Make more sense, please, Mickey. Belief? No, Mickey, these are facts. Ah, I see why Mickey has his panties in a twist. It seems he knows exactly what the Falcon Heavy rocket observation is showing. It's showing that all horizontals are not the same horizontal. Yup, facts, Mickey. Don't strawman the facts. Oh, a little bit of maximum snark for Mickey. May as well share the snark around. And every day or so I ask Mickey if he's actually watched the supercut video. And of course he hasn't, and he won't. I keep asking him, which facts will you try to debunk in the debate, Mickey? I guess Mick West gets it, and I guess Mickey won't be allowed to get it, or he will be excommunicated from on the level. So Mickey, where is level? If I want Kenny to point the camera level so he's on the beach looking at the horizon, where does he point the camera? Well, Mickey has no facts, he just makes up his own. There are just glove proofs everywhere we look. No wonder Bev refuses to help out Mickey. Bev won't even try thinking about this rocket.
I haven't got a clue what you're talking about, Wally. That's between you, Mike, and Betty.
Yeah, well reasoned, Mickey, and if the surface were flat, then you're onto a winner. Do you see how this proves that the surface cannot be flat? Oh, not the old elevation profile misunderstanding again, Mickey. Oh, give it a break, mate. Oh, Mickey has gone the little buddy again. And when I keep pressing him for an answer, which point will he dispute, I get nothing in return. Mickey runs away to go back to his perceived winning point about, debate me, Wally. It's hilarious to watch him do this, really. And yes, Mickey actually thinks the ball is impossible, as we in Australia would all fall off. Shakes my head. When I say the rocket is below eye level, or the eye level of the observer, Mickey hears that the rocket is below the observer. Mickey never gets the difference between he never gets the difference. Or maybe he believes his own straw man. Yep.
Is this partly where this debate today was supposed to be coming from?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe so.
So the people were not below each other, so that sort of makes a little bit more sense as to where some of the discussion went, or didn't really go anywhere. But yeah.
Which was why Berry was trying to elicit what eye level, what a line of sight is, and then what eye level is.
Yeah.
And why Mickey, of course, wouldn't let him.
No. Because if it's level from the eye of the observer at perpendicular to the vertical, then could be problems for him. Yeah.
Mickey definitely suffers from some sort of brain fail. Dyscalculia is the inability to handle numbers or complex maths, and aphantasia is the ability to imagine geometric concepts, which is rather ironic given that one of his key plays is to claim that you are imagining something. And there he goes again, mentioning his education, and then deleting the comment where he bragged. See, what Mickey doesn't get is that I'm conducting an interview of sorts. I would not hire him for my employee because I need people who I can trust to handle hundreds, if not thousands of dollars of other people's money. Now, I do this to see if Mickey is good enough for me to even bother debating. Only on a flat earth is Bev's rocket paradox an actual paradox. Mickey thinks he's doing damage. He's not even addressing any of the facts that I laid out for him. Now, knowing 2 locations of the rocket, it is trivial to work backwards and find out where Pad 39A is located. It's not that hard. Mickey will just not watch it. Mickey really wants to debate, and he just keeps trying to manipulate. I don't believe I would have admitted to that if I were you, Mickey. That's exactly what I'm asking you to do. Do the maths. Does Mickey think I'm not going to check? Why does he lie like that? And when called out, Mickey just doubles down and lies even more. Mickey certainly likes to keep doing the dirt. I do look forward to the live science gigs, Mickey, taking the lab on the road, doing those groundbreaking discoveries every night for the live audience, speakers and Bunsen burners and spreadsheets. It's gonna be great. So then Mickey tries in vain to make an argument from absurdity. Problem for Mickey is, whatever was right onto it and had the answers. Womp womp Mickey. More absurd claims from Mickey. I could write a book about the fails of Mickey. So when I do the maths and provide the real-world data and show Mickey that the ISS at 400 kilometres up is just visible from Nova Scotia when it's over Florida, he says, the sky is up. Well, at least he knows his limits. Now, Mickey is a child when it comes to understanding the world around him. He makes statements like this that is so easily disproven. Just stand on a mountain and measure the angle down to the sun as it's setting behind the horizon. It's not terribly hard. So there we go again. Mickey tries to prop up his lack of demonstrated intelligence with, but I got a degree from a fancy building and all. Just wow. And this derp followed by the claim that he's winning. Unbelievable. So often we have seen Mickey forgetting that he made up the straw man in the first place, and then he starts to believe it's my position. Now that is a comment typical of the JQ, and the way that he carried on until making a total goose of himself a long time ago, and then he burned that account. It's not hard, Mickey, to take 2 known positions above the horizon and work backwards and see where the rocket had to be physically. Now Mickey keeps ignoring the indisputable fact that when the rocket was at the horizon, it was also 23 kilometres ASL. Yeah, both Whatever and I have done diagrams. The only one who has not done a diagram is you, Mickey. So you get that this is a paradox, Mickey, but then you don't seem to want to realise that it is only a paradox for flat Earth. And Mickey is serious when he says this too. Ooh, projection much, Mickey. So after all that, Mickey, you have skipped away from the one fact that you can't deny. The rocket is going right in line with the horizon at the same time that it's 23 kilometres above the sea level over at Florida. Why you lie, Mickey? So transparent, Mickey. Yeah, right. That from the guy who's always compensating. Cameraman is looking below horizontal, as in the dip angle, and Rocket Man is looking down to see the beach at around 4 degrees. Problem done, Mickey. So we are all waiting for you to do your diagram now. You really like to make demands, hey Mickey, but do you ever actually do something yourself? Show me what you think is actually happening here. Are you getting the sense that this is a paradox yet, Mickey? Well, it seems on a globe this is super easy, barely an inconvenience. How much higher does Wally 1 need to jump to be higher than Wally 2? Let's see how well Mickey goes with that one. Still waiting for your diagram, Mickey? Well, at least you got the foot level is horizontal part right. So, at this point I realised that the thread was only a few comments from full, so I did the right thing and hurried up and filled it up before Mickey could. Mickey, what would you describe yourself as?
Dishonest person attempting to get over on other people.
Mickey, look mate, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to concede that you indeed have the greater education. You are obviously very fit and of imposing stature. I underestimated you very much. It is obvious that all women want to be with you and that all men want to be you. I should never have said that you have no idea how solar panels work, or how GPS works, or how atmospheric pressure works, or how horizons work, or how rockets work, or how gravity works, or how Starman works. You have my sincerest apologies, Mickey.
I was literally trained by ex-CIA to spot liars. We paid for the CIA to come to our office to train us, to teach us to spot liars. I'm great at it.
Well, thanks guys. I hope you enjoyed this. And Mickey, you know I'm always one step ahead of you, don't you?
Wally was an early adopter of this.
I know. For a while,
He was
wasn't it?
way ahead of everybody else.
Well, that was interesting. I was watching it. You come around here and there should be 3 mil, about 3 mil of material left there. And all of a sudden the bit dropped. And it dropped down 3 mil and went right into the board. And went and ground right through this whole corner. And next thing, I saw the corner fall off. I have no idea why it did that. But I tell you what, it certainly chewed out 3 mil the whole way around without stopping.
Okay.
Interesting.
That's nice. Well, there you go.
Oh, yeah, that was Wally learning something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
He says that at the start. He says, at the very end, you'll see me learn something.
Yeah. Well, there you go. No, so he's not saying he's ex-CIA. He's saying that they had ex-CIA people and teach them how to spot line. I don't know why accountants need to be taught how to spot lying, but apparently they do.
Oh. Oh, it was ex-CIA. Because I've heard him make the claim repeatedly that it was the CIA that came and did these
well
things for them.
I doubt the CIA would come and do that for them. That's not sort of like they'd say, "What do you want us to do?" I don't think they sort of have those sort of services, do they? It's a bit like me saying.
Yeah, when he said that,
go on.
For some reason I couldn't help but think about Jethro Bodine, the double knot spy from Beverly Hillbillies.
Well, it's a bit like me claiming I've been trained by the MI6 because I went to a 3-day course about hostile vehicle mitigation. Yeah, MI6 did run it, but yes. Well, that's the silliness of it. Paul, are you awake after that?
I am.
I'm thinking
awake.
We're probably time for another quiz. Sort of.
All right.
Shake our minds around.
Well, this one's hard.
This is a hard quiz, so get ready out there. Blues are on. Blues are really get ready for this one. He's good in this.
All right.
There we go. Starting with our gravity demonstrations.
Gravity demonstration.
I got to look into it. See, a little bit jumpy on my end, so I think it might be a graphics card, something to do with Zoom. I'll sort that out.
Yeah, it might be my computer too. It's not the best. Anyway, doesn't matter. Hey. All right. So your minds are all mush now. Let's go.
Let's go.
Question one. 3 wiffles and a delta frame composed primarily of beryllium are used to support one of these objects, also made from beryllium. What are we talking about?
So a triangular frame with 3 wiffles. Ooh, Bob Nodell's gyroscope says no.
Bob Nodell's gyroscope. No. All right. The Karras Lab under the football stadium of the University of Arizona is the US's leading manufacturer of the largest type of these objects, which it manufactures from O'Hara's E6 product using a custom-designed oven. What do they make? Not braziers, not atom bombs, not gyros, not zeppelins, not neutron moderators, no.
Something medical,
centrifugal separators?
Lightweight examples of these objects use a ribbed support that resembles a honeycomb. Not sapphires, not blimps, no. Okay. The LZT experiment uses an inexpensive type of these devices that consists of a rotating pool of liquid mercury. What would a rotating pool of liquid mercury make? Kind of on the right track there, Carl, but I need you to be more specific.
A reflecting telescope with zoom?
Guido Arturo pioneered a method of constructing large examples of these objects that results in a characteristic 6-spike diffraction pattern. What causes that? We've got a correct answer out in the peanuts.
Oh, just okay, yeah. I assume it's
7 of these objects will span 25 meters to form a giant structure named for Magellan.
Yeah, I'd worked out Magellan telescope, but I'm assuming it's telescope mirrors.
18 hexagonal segments unfolded into a single primary one of these objects at L2 for the James Webb Space Telescope. Name these structures that are used in reflecting telescopes. They are, as Nerd Alert pointed out, telescope mirrors or reflecting mirrors. Yeah. Well done, Nerd Alert. Okay, question 2. Kiefer and Wolfowitz proved the equivalence of 2 approaches to this task based respectively on maximizing a determinant and on minimizing the max diagonal entry of a matrix called D-optimality and G-optimality. What is this task?
Isn't Wolfowitz Wolf from what's he named after this guy from Big Bang Theory? Anyway, sorry, I don't know what he did though. You're right, okay.
A classic 1935 book titled for this task introduced an anecdote about Muriel Bristol's ability to discern the order in which milk had been added to a cup, the so-called lady tasting tea. What is this task? Are you familiar with that thing? That thing, the lady tasting tea thing?
No.
Does it make a difference if you put the milk in first or last?
Well, obviously it's not tea if you put it in afterwards.
I don't know it does much for the taste, but it can certainly make a difference whether you've got a cup at the end of the process or not.
Yeah. Hadamard matrices are used in an approach to this task developed by Plackett and Berman. No. Orthogonal arrays proposed by Taguchi are often used for this task, for which Ronald Fisher popularized the use of Latin squares. I must admit, this is a very hard question.
It's not something to do with distribution or probability, is it?
It could be. As part of this task, blocking can be used to account for nuisance factors. Not chess moves. Approaches to this task include matched pairs, repeated measures, and full factorial.
The shell game's a stinger.
No, not the shell game.
Dampening.
This task involves planning out the right way to assign and randomize treatment. Name this task of planning a procedure meant to test a scientific hypothesis.
I feel like I'm going to know it once you say it, but decode.
Yeah, say something.
I was going to say programming, but that's not right. Planning a procedure is shit. No.
Oh, that was a hard one then. All right. It was experimental design.
No, okay. No, I wouldn't have got it.
There you go. All righty, moving on. It's not the harp, but this instrument is the centerpiece of a Pentecostal gospel music genre performed by Robert Randolph and the Campbell brothers, named for a sacred one.
The lyre.
What is this instrument? It's not a lyre.
Okay.
Though he doesn't play it himself, King Sunny Ade's band introduced this instrument to juju music. Not the glass harmonica. George Beauchamp created the first electric model of these instruments, the frying pan. What is he talking about? Not the organ.
Steel string guitar. What do they call that thing? Steel string guitar. That's not what's called though. A banjo.
You almost got it, Timbo. The
That's
complex
a
standardized tuning setups of one of these instruments, including E9, C6, and universal, are referred to as copedants. Not the electric guitar.
No, it's the one that you
the theremin.
One you lay out.
I know you know what it is, Timbo, but you don't know what it's called, right?
It's a
the virtuoso sol hoppan.
Steel guitar or a lap steel guitar?
It is indeed the steel guitar. Well done, yeah. Popularised this non-Indigenous instrument in Hawaiian music, yeah. Following the work of players like Buddy Emmons, Jimmy Day, and Zane Beck, this instrument's lap and pedal varieties became a staple of American country music. Yeah, name this family of guitars, derived instruments, played horizontally with a metal slide, some of which can be manipulated with the feet and knees. Yeah, the steel guitar.
Yeah, that one. Except the ones I know don't have the guitar bit like that one does. It's just the fret and the bass.
Yeah. All right, question 4. Shadrovov et al. Produced a giant form of one result of this phenomenon by generating polaritons at the interface between left-handed and right-handed materials.
Okay, I'll take your word for that.
Okay. One form of IR spectroscopy uses this phenomenon to analyze samples by placing them in contact with a germanium or zinc selenide crystal. Charles Kapp sparked a manufacturing race by predicting that the attenuation limit of a system that relies on repeated occurrences of this phenomenon was under 20 decibels per kilometre. Not semiconductivity, no. A Fresnel ROM converts linear polarization to elliptical polarization by exploiting the phase shift introduced by this phenomenon. You're on the right track, Turing Test 2, but what about that am I talking?
Fiber optic.
Energy can be transferred between media that are not in contact by means of the Evanescence wave generated by this phenomenon.
It's not total internal reflection or something?
It is, Timbo.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. This phenomenon occurs repeatedly between the core and the cladding of optical fibres. That should give it away, since the beam is always incident with an angle larger than the critical angle. Name this phenomenon that results in an incoming wave fully returning to its original medium with no refraction. It is indeed total internal reflection.
So
Yay,
would he had done something to do with one of the things when they invented optical fibre was realising that if they used two mediums, they could get the effect within the fibre and made production so much easier. Is that the bit about the manufacturing race you said there? Because when they first started using fibres, they were having trouble getting something that could be produced, but then they realised that if they have two densities of material, and then they could put that in a big core and then stretch it into smaller ones, and they ended up with something that would refract internally.
Yes, that's right. Okay, question 5. The Kugo-Eumer formula can be used to analytically define a consequence of this property in the infrared limit.
Okay, again, I take your word for it.
Okay. This property generates a pressure denoted capital B in the bag model.
Don't know at all, I don't think. Bag model.
Long-range interactions between particles with this property are explained with electric fluxons in the dual superconductor model. Well, what are we talking about? It's in the bag, yep.
It's in the bag. It's under pressure even.
To avoid violation of the Pauli exclusion principle in delta plus particles, this property was introduced to make the overall wave function of baryons antisymmetric. What property?
I don't know. Don't worry, Sting. This question.
Not non-linearity.
I have no idea.
Spin.
Particles with this property are confined to Clive Wells, yes, not spin. This property is anti-screened due to its carrier also having a non-zero value of this property, thereby causing the interaction energy between particles with this property to increase with distance.
Non-zero property between.
Yeah. Okay. All naturally occurring free particles lack this property, thereby making particles with this property confined.
Which is where the confinement comes.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah. Uniquely among gauge bosons, gluons have non-zero values of this property, in addition to mediating its effect between quarks. We've got some correct answers out in the peanuts there. I'll acknowledge that. Name this property exclusive to strongly interacting particles, which comes in red, blue, and green forms. It's not just colour, but nerd alert right with. It's the colour force or colour charge.
Oh, I'm going to have to look that one up. It's completely sketchy.
Just like you have electrical charge as a property of a particle, you also have a thing called colour charge. Yeah.
Well, for the...
it doesn't mean that they are literally red, green, and blue. Right? They don't literally look red, green, or blue. We just give it that name to distinguish between the different states of the colour charge.
Okay.
Question 6. After Nathaniel Jarvis Wyeth's innovations helped launch an early business shipping this resource, its owner built a storehouse in Madras that became the Vivekananda Illium, that's hard to say, Illium, and compensated for the poor quality of Hooghly Chechura's supply. What are they talking about?
I can make some guesses, but...
Yeah, well, make a guess then.
The first one, we're talking about Indian, so it's probably going to be saffron or rice or something along those lines, but let's see.
It's neither. It's neither of those.
Yeah.
Before his copper dealings triggered the Panic of 1907, Charles Morse and a Tammany-backed monopoly on this resource in New York City. Ran a Tammany-backed monopoly of this resource in New York City. It's not port, it's not saffron, it's not cork. A catastrophic 1910 fire in a Maine town named for this resource and the suffix boro was one of the final blows to its trade. I want to get up to a particular clue before I reveal whether any of the peanuts have got it or not.
I think one of them does.
After Geoffrey Pike developed a reinforced form of this non-concrete resource called Pikecrete, the British military began Project Habakkuk to investigate making an aircraft carrier with it.
Can I give an answer? Can I have an answer now?
You can give an answer. Yeah. What do you?
I had it before because it's ice.
It is. It's ice. Well done. To who got that first out there?
I think I saw it up further than. Don.
It was Don Giovanni. Yeah, Don Giovanni. Well done. You got it.
Yeah.
All right. Long distance trade in this resource began with the Massachusetts businessman Frederick Tudor. Specialised oil cars for storing this resource enabled the meat packing industry to localise operations in hubs like Chicago rather than ship live cattle. Yeah. Name this resource whose international trade was obviated by mechanical refrigeration. It was indeed ice. Well done.
The Pikecrete that actually got
7.
to a whole test thing and then they canned it.
Yeah. Imagine an aircraft carrier made of ice.
Yeah. Reinforced with lots of wood chip in it.
Yeah. Be no good in tropical zones.
No. It's a bit
No, but we kind of did need a big aircraft carrier in the iceberg zone. So
yeah.
There's a logic to it that made some sense, but it didn't happen.
Question 7. Terence Tao extended this result to cyclic groups of prime order, which he used to give a short proof of the Cauchy-Davenport theorem. What result? This sounds like a Clive question, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't
it? A form of this statement expresses it in terms of the negative log of the overlap between two eigenvectors.
Okay.
That entropic form of this statement ensures the security of key distribution in quantum cryptography.
I'm a blind Bambi stage still.
Edwards, what the heck is an eigenvector? A generalized form of this statement contains a term equal to the squared term of 1/2 times the expectation of an anti-commutator minus the product of individual expectation values. I'll follow that one up with a quick one because that was probably gobbledygook for most people.
Yeah.
This statement is fulfilled asymmetrically by squeeze states and symmetrically by coherent states. It's not computer stuff.
No, it's not. Well,
This
not
statement, which in general exists for any pair of non-commuting observables, is most commonly stated as sigma x, sigma rho is greater than h bar over 2.
No idea. Keep going.
I just know. I just vaguely remember enough stuff to know that that somebody is actually correct in the side chat. It has been for quite a while.
Okay, let me have a look back up.
Well, pretty sure somebody is correct in the side chat.
I don't think so.
I thought Nerdler had it ages ago. With the primes thing.
No, it's not got anything to do with primes. No. Name this principle of quantum mechanics that states that position and momentum cannot both be determined with arbitrary precision. That should give it away. But Clive Wells has already got it out there anyway. So it is the uncertainty principle. Yeah. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle.
Oh,
well done, Clive.
I've heard of it, but no idea what it was. Yep.
It means, Timbo, that you can't measure the position and the momentum of a particle with infinite accuracy simultaneously.
I thought it was
no one or the other, but not both.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that's what happens when you talk to your missus.
Okay. Question 8. These phenomena can cause damaging pressure spikes called Jiffle peaks.
Jiffle peaks. Okay.
Yeah. Chabtube Hoffman and Akhmediev experimentally produced a dangerous type of these real-world phenomena, consistent with a model of them based on the peregrine breather.
Just got it.
He did as well. Well done.
Well done.
I'll go through the rest of the clues, but he is correct. It is indeed rogue waves, yeah. That type of these natural phenomena are thought to be caused by nonlinear effects like the modulational focus. A behaviour of these phenomena is characterised by the Ribaron number, which divides them into subtypes like collapsing and plunging, yeah. Scientists thought one type of them existed only in folklore until a recording of one that exceeded twice a namesake's significant height at the Draupner platform near Norway. These phenomena slow down and increase in height in shallow regions, a phenomena called shoaling. Huge rogue examples of what phenomena are likely responsible for the disappearance of many ships. It is indeed ocean waves or rogue waves.
Rogue waves, yeah.
Waves, yeah. All right, question 9.
Mm-hmm.
R.W. Pacala produced the first carbon-based versions of these materials via polycondensation of resorcinol and formaldehyde. What did he make?
Don't recognise the name.
Okay. Between 2011 and 2013, the variety of these materials with the highest porosity transitioned from using silica to graphite and then again from graphite to graphene. What were they making? Not carbon nanotubes.
Pencils?
Not pencils.
Oh, there you go.
NASA's X class of these materials is created by embedding cross-linked polymers, which greatly increases their tensile strength. Not buckyballs or pants. An alleged bet between Charles Learned and Samuel Chrysler led Chrysler to create the first of these materials via supercritical drying, which prevented the significant shrinkage and cracking seen in their Zero counterparts. Not truck nuts. Not carbon fibre. But there is a correct answer out there.
Yeah.
These translucent materials have both extremely low thermal conductivity and ultra-low density, making them useful as low-weight insulators. Well, you've got to go and know what they are now.
They're tiles, but I don't know what they're called. Anyway.
Not heat tiles, no.
No.
Aerogel.
Aerogels. Well done.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Yes. Fragile materials are produced by removing the liquid component of a certain type of colloid without it collapsing. Yeah. Name the lightest class of solids, a subtype of gels where the liquid has been replaced with a gas that is sometimes known as frozen smoke. They are aerogels. Yeah.
There you go.
And your last question. Out of fear that the United States would attempt to assassinate him, this man's name was hidden even from his colleagues, leaving him to be addressed solely as chief designer.
Oh.
This is a 3-part question. It's got 3 answers.
Okay.
All right. So, A, name this man who led the Soviet space program until his death in 1966. He nearly died in a gulag in Kolyma during World War II and spearheaded development of the R-7 Semyorka rocket that launched Sputnik. Who was he? I'll accept just a surname if you want.
It's going to be probably ending Lev V or something like that.
Here's a picture of him.
Okay. I do have an answer, but it was through Google Foo. I think.
Yeah, what is that guy's name?
Your mum. Everyone out there is saying Korolev.
Yeah.
Korolev or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like
You agree? It
Yeah.
was indeed Sergei Korolev. Yeah. Well done. Okay. Part B. In 1946, Korolev went to recover the technology behind this Nazi long-range rocket, launched from the Baltic town of Peenemünde. Operation Paperclip brought many of its designers, like Werner von Braun, to the US. What
That would be
long-range rocket?
That would be the A4 or V2, as it would be better known.
Well done, Alan. I'll accept either of those answers. It would indeed be either the V2 or the A4. Yeah. And part C, the last question. Korolev's mentor was this aviation designer who created the Red Army's main World War II frontline bomber. His namesake, non-Mikoyan Gurevich Design Bureau produced the Concorde airliner's sole competitor. What was his name? Again, just a
Kravchuk?
surname will do.
Sokolov, let's see.
Sokolov. Because that was the TU-144, I
Tupolev.
think.
Yeah, Tupolev.
Yeah,
that was
Tupolev. Yeah,
Tupolev.
It was indeed. Yeah, Andrei Tupolev. Well done.
There you go.
There you go. That was your hard quiz for this week.
Thanks for
Damn
that.
right, that was hard.
Oh, no, it was.
How many questions did Paul get right, Blue?
Hardly any.
Hardly any. Well, I hope you learned something anyway.
I always learn something, which is why I enjoy them. All things to go back and try and look up. Oh dear. Ah, that was good. Well, what have I got listed in my thing? I think there's another. Do you want to? I've got another thing on opinions. You want to do an old video on opinions? Suppose it. I don't know what this is like, but it came out of the Monty Python Museum. So, go on, Alan.
No, I was going to say just that everybody's got one, just like certain body parts.
Yes.
Became the mission of a lifetime.
So, I don't know if this is funny. Just because it comes out of the Monty Python Museum doesn't make it necessarily funny, but most likely. Let's see. It's over there. Let's see. It's about. We'll see how we go. It's a bit longer than I'd hope. We might see if it's any good.
Is a doctor and writer. His parents hoped for a serious Jewish heterosexual son. They were disappointed. Tonight on Opinions, he argues that we should all stop worrying about what the neighbors will say.
A chat about what will the neighbours say could become a dissertation, a pompous word, on peer pressure, which is both glib and pompous. To help me stop this, a little box in the bottom left of your screen will show the number of times the phrase peer pressure is used. An important ethical or sociological statement of global significance will be indicated by a letter of the alphabet in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Now that we've established these guidelines, I hope you'll all sit back and really enjoy this stunning chat. Incidentally, towards the end, there will be quite a lot of filthy talk. Stories about sex, smutty revelations about big names, and what they get up to between the sheets. Yes, the lowdown on the high life of the high flyers. Rock superstars, film, mega and giga stars, and not just towards the end, either. There may well be some quite lavatorial bits in a few minutes. There. Well, what will the neighbours say? Now, as the son of a country copper, a parish PC, an urban district dickhead, I was made aware of this phrase at a very early age. If any of my family were the subject of gossip, that would put the mockers on Dad's promotional prospects. Perhaps it was being so aware of this that made me ignore it totally. I looked at my neighbours and didn't care what they thought, if they did. Scandalising and mocking nice, decent, ordinary folk became the mission of a lifetime. Now, one thing that neighbours say almost universally is that everyone should settle down and get married and have a family. What a load of donkey-doos! Why in Grantham should anyone commit themselves to a path of such mind-stunting mediocrity? It's not as if the one thing the world really needs is more children. There's nothing clever or difficult about the act of procreation. There are 4,500 million of us on this crowded little planet already, and this will rise to 12,000 million in 40 years' time if people continue to settle down, get married and have families. Think of that. 3 times more people than there are now. Try and find a job then, you family lovers. Think of that during the rush hour, or while you're on a crowded beach in Ibiza. Now, I know my voice gets louder and rises in pitch as I warm to my theme, but I'll try and change that. Of course, the population of this country will not rise as quickly as that of the less educated parts of the world. But then, we're overpopulated already, you dumb clucks! I'm sorry. halve the population of Britain, and there might be a hope of it being self-sufficient, with those who want to work in interesting jobs working, and those who don't just reading books and playing snooker. Recreating, but not reproducing ourselves. While robots quite rightly do all the messy, boring, and dangerous jobs we would have such fun creating them to do, like mucking out the anaconda. I mean, swelp me. 2/3 of the world is starving now. Our limited natural resources are rapidly being used up. Oil, minerals, forestry, entire species of animals wiped out by humanity's unthinking expansion. Think of this. And think how, in the name of God, if there is such an entity, can people adopt an attitude of high morality when advising you to get married and have a family? They are, of course, using an outdated morality, one of an age of primitive tribalism. This is perpetuated by many modern religions and political beliefs. In a tribal era, if you were going to survive primitive hand-to-hand combat with other tribes, you needed more tribespersons. Tribespersons, through ignorance, were malnourished, ate lumps of dirt, swapped plagues with each other, and were generally infected and infested, living short lives in verminous hutches. In those days, if they were going to survive at all, they had to reproduce like rabbits to make up the deficit. It is precisely against such a background that many religions began. The trouble is, they haven't changed their acts since. Silly people, silly folk. Ah! And for those of you in Northern Ireland, did you notice how I fell off my head? No, of course you did. I commend your attention spans. And for those of you who have short attention spans and maybe are already staring blankly at the screens, going back to your knitting or just chasing crabs, wake up and pay attention. I don't intend to go over all this again. If you are that stupid or have just come into the room, I am talking about what will the neighbours say? A little chat about peer pressure. The way the weak and feeble amongst us allow others to determine the course of our lives. Now, where was I? You know, even before a child is born, parents begin to worry about what the neighbours will say about it. Do you want a boy or a girl? Now, if it happens to be a boy, there's often extra celebration, presumably because of the tender thought that a boy may well earn more money later on, and not shame his family by not getting married and or getting pregnant. Also, it's thought boys are more likely to become sports stars, pop singers, union leaders, airline pilots, Harley Street proctologists, etc. But hens, aren't they also more likely to become second-hand car salesmen, football hooligans, and or psychopathic mass murderers? As soon as a new infant arrives in the world, it is entered for a competition with the neighbours. Will she be called Sarah Maud, or Charlene Cheryl? Will he be called Simon Ben, or Wayne, or Darryl? How painful or painless was the delivery? How heavy was the baby? How long was it? Did it have hair, and were all its bits there? Does it even remotely resemble its father? Was its name put down for private school, and if so, how long before birth? Or is it so special that it should have no special privileges and be sent to one of the best local education authority schools that the parents could just happen to live near? Fortunately, the neighbours have at long last admitted that they boobed over bottle feeding, and now sensibly recommend the breast. Look, we've run out of letters for the right-hand corner already, and it's a bit confusing with that peer pressure thing going on in the other corner. I think it would be better if you just assume that everything I say is staggeringly important. You won't go far wrong. The next neighbourly competition is called milestones. How much more quickly did your child learn to grin, walk, crawl, say dada, and erupt teeth? All useful signs for the paediatrician looking for abnormalities, but even better for gossip. Neighbours love to count their blessings as they label others as weirdos. Simply being left-handed once evoked prejudice. How many left-handed corkscrews or pianos have you seen? I mean, real left-handed pianos with notes the other way round, as a left-handed person should have the right to expect. Not fair, is it? Having decided the child's gender identity for it, the parents, motivated by fear of the neighbours, set about instilling in the creature how essentially all male or all female it must be. Little boys don't cry, and little girls don't play with piston engines. What mind-bogglingly pathetic and emotionally stunting little rules they make up. Dressed totally in pink, little girls are forced to play with cerebrum-shatteringly tedious dolls and little model houses, so that later on they'll not only merge in with their dull neighbours, but also play an important role in promoting conservatism without even knowing where they got their ideas from. Similarly, little boys kitted out in blue are given tiny motor cars, cricket bats, toy hand grenades and exocets. And most importantly, even 3- and 4-year-old lads are given frequent coy propaganda about girlfriends and plentiful reminders along the lines of, when you're grown up and have children of your own, you'll understand. What will that make anyone understand that they couldn't safely have read about with no risk to their personal freedom? What are they all so wound up about? Because of the family name? Because they need someone to look after them in their old age? Selfish gits? Or is it because it would be a bad thing before one's neighbours if one's nice little girl turned into a bull dyke? Or such a tough little boy became a raving queen? Is homosexuality the common cause of parental death that parents imagine? Or is it really fear of what the neighbours will say? If someone has the sense to do what they want and go to bed with someone of their own sex and not force replicas of themselves on the rest of this overcrowded world, good luck to them. They should be given medals, not demoted or importuned and locked up. In this dreadful world of enforced sexual conformity, little girls are tutored to pure aspartame sweetness and to raise their voices an octave, sounding more innocent and plaintive when asking for something in a shop, for instance. The cute little mite lisps, "Mummy, could I have some of those nice sweeties?" when what she really needs is a smack in the teeth. Welcome to the real world. Little boys, on the other hand, are indulged to be conservatively naughty, cheeky, and non-effeminately grimy. What they actually need for their education is one day a month compulsorily clad in a pink skirt. Would Boy George be as he is if he had been made to wear a pink skirt once a month from the age of 6? You may have noticed just now a gentleman walk behind me carrying a cardboard penguin. If you didn't, then you're not paying attention. I'm not saying all this for my own benefit, you know. I've gone to great lengths to research this talk so that the whole of mankind might benefit. It's inattention to education that causes wars, you know. If the Germans had been wiser and cared less about what the neighbours had said, there would have been no World War II. But no, you don't want to know. And all peace protesters are weirdos, so the neighbours say. And the Americans have got no history and therefore can't think. And the Russians are all very, 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 very evil, though I'm not quite sure how, except that it involves the KGB and red something or other. Oh, you globe full of ninnies, pull yourselves together. Don't you realise we're all the same underneath? At first, a baby is a greedy, selfish creature. All it knows about are its own needs. If Monsieur Pasteur, Mr. Lister, Dr. Fleming, and Mrs. Nightingale had been this dim, most of us would have curled up our toes and died of infection long before reaching the ripe old age of 27. This is where education comes in, but there are two types. One is purely educational, in which society passes on its accumulated knowledge, artistic, historic, and scientific, and is very, 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 very good. The other is indoctrination, which poses as education, but is excrementally treacherous, deceitful, and prone to mythomania. Who in the world would stoop so low as to indoctrinate? All religious leaders and politicians. It's what their jobs are about. They say, here's a code of behavior for you. Now you won't have to do any of that difficult thinking. Put these blinkers on and follow us. Believe in God and all that we say he says, or believe in the party and all that we say you say. Oh, say, can you see? Rule Britannia will keep the red flag flying here. I have seen the light. Ours is the true way. Yes, millions of people can be wrong. They betray their ignorance and prejudice by their intolerance of other moralities and their insistence that theirs is the only way. I remember an ad for Volkswagen cars which said that 25 million people could not be wrong. Remember World War II? Need I say more? So think and don't blindly follow. Choose the best bits of all philosophies you can find and build your own. You don't have to be a Christian, a Muslim, a Buddhist, a communist, a logical positivist, or a vegan to use your brain. In fact, to be committed to such a club is to sentence millions of brain cells to shameful inactivity. Religion, nationalism, and political fervour are enemies of rational thought. At best, dearest viewer, we should stroll a careful course, retaining our individualism and freedom of thought, while conforming only to social behaviour patterns which benefit and enlighten rather than harm others. Of course, the neighbours can be right. Ultimately, it is the corporate consciousness of humanity against which our personal moralities are compared. Thankfully, this corporate consciousness is not fixed. It is growing and developing as it absorbs and accepts new ideas. Ideas pioneered by individuals who it may once have persecuted and who eventually become the heroes of man's search for truth. Well, that's the end of a very long but well-intentioned and important bit of chat. Now, obviously, some of you may have allowed your minds to wander. I know mine did. So, here's a summary. So, back to peer pressure. During early childhood, when... I think I just said peer pressure. Oh, there. During early childhood, when selfishness predominates, fear of being the odd one out, ridiculed, jeered at, or thumped, creates a dangerous need to belong to the gang, the club, the social set. Those excluded are punished by exclusion itself, not being talked to, or by not being played with, through various types of psychological torment to actual physical abuse. Few of us leave this cruel early phase of our lives unbruised. Chapman's too thin, ooh, skinny, long streak of pits, GC's a puff, etc. Gradually, we unlearn these unwise ways and turn next to competition. We must compete against each other, academically and in sport, if we're not to be regarded as weird. Competition can spur you on to greater efforts and seems to be essential to most otherwise innately lazy human beings. But you must beware of placing too much importance in competition, leading as it may to frustrations and feelings of failure, or, just as bad, false impressions of superiority. You remember Wilkinson, who was so brilliant in the sixth form, went straight on to get a first Oxford, and then was never heard of again, although there was some talk of men in white coats. Now, of course, no one would tolerate a Brave New World mentality where people are conditioned to accept permanent labels of superiority or inferiority. So isn't it surprising that's precisely what we do accept? The ignorant convince themselves that their superiors are in fact inferior because they can't see that lounging around and being a selfish lout is a lot less effort and much more butch. Those who are educationally spoon-fed believe it is only their own efforts that have brought about their superior status, and others simply didn't work hard enough or are genetically inferior. Everyone should be encouraged to progress to the full extent of their potential, not put in their place and forbidden further growth. Later in life, fear of not belonging may even tempt us to be less than true to our inner convictions, leading us to denounce them and even paradoxically actively campaign against them, so convincingly hiding one's real thoughts. What a pathetic way to live. Whether you believe in an afterlife or not, I think it's wiser to assume that there is none, and at least be true to yourself in life, as most likely this is your only shot at it. So we pass through the selfishness of toddlerhood, the braggart cliquishness of childhood, to come up against the obscenity of suddenly having a larger set of genitals clamped onto us. Now, some view this prospect with pride, and yet another valid area for competition. Na 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 na, hoo hoo hoo, titta titta titta, whisper whisper whisper. Because the one thing the neighbours cannot talk about to each other openly is sex. Even though privately it's their favourite topic of conversation. Didn't you know that, one pubescent taunts another, the would-be grown-up is afraid to ask through fear of ridicule? Parents should tell their children more about sex. Parents should be told more about sex. Teachers should teach more about sex, and friends and lavatory walls be more sexually literate. There are fewer dark areas now, but it's not long since neighbours thought that the female orgasm was unnecessary and rare. Masturbation was thought to stunt growth and lead to blindness, and marriage was the only cure. What blather skittick bunk! It's a common misconception of the sexually literate that sex consists of a male putting his penis into a vagina and pumping away until orgasm, and that is all. There is no other valid form of sex. Now, this used to be regarded as the British missionary position, a form of sexual gratification indulged in by those wary of other entertaining possibilities. I'm not just talking of a number of different sexual positions which, despite the acrobatics, are still in essence penis up the vagina, fun though they may be. Full sexual orgasm, as everyone should really know, can be achieved in mutual masturbation, for instance, which is not only unwanted pregnancy-free, but minimizes the risk of venereal disease and teaches us a great deal about how to truly arouse our partners to heights of pleasure and gratification. If there is one single area in which you can rely on your neighbor's ignorance and intolerance, it is sex. It may be a good way of meeting friends and forming deep relationships, but unfortunately it can arouse very destructive feelings of guilt, envy and jealousy, and it's for this reason that sensible discretion on sexual matters is still a necessity. I think you can expect people to object if you thrust sex under their nostrils. Fear of being himself and what his immediate neighbors say pushes the young adult to conform by smoking carcinogenic cigarettes, drinking poisonous quantities of alcohol, sniffing glue, smoking dope, snorting coke, shooting heroin to demonstrate his or her independence. Friends won't easily let you say no. Sheep-like, you follow others. Your attempt to dress differently sadly becomes a uniform as desperately you try to avoid the rut you will inevitably fall into. Pathetic, aren't they? Old age, our neighbors say, will make you less active, less attractive, more stupid and asexual. And it will, far sooner than it might, if you make the mistake of believing stupid neighbors yet again. Take care of your body. Eat and drink sensibly, exercise your body and mind, and old age will not be the trial it is for many. Grow old gracefully, say those bleeding neighbors, damn them. Well, don't give up without a huge struggle, yes, even with time. At last, scientists are learning how to turn back some of our body clocks. Good luck to them. It's theoretically possible for a human being to live to 150 years of age. Let's push ourselves beyond their limits. Limits are set to be broken. Let us begin to treat the aging process as a group of diseases that can be treated and not as some inevitable doom to be whispered about. People who think they've gracefully accepted the inevitable are fond of saying, "Oh, I wouldn't want to live forever." Oh, yes, they would if they thought they had a chance. The alternative is, after all, death, which is a bit final. Even if you think you're going to casually ooze off into some eternal nirvana, you've got the whole of eternity to do that in. Why be in such a rush to find out? It could be a dreadful disappointment, and there are no return tickets. I strongly suspect that death is the dullest state we could fall into, and should never be looked upon favourably by the sane. It's nothing to be afraid of, just something to avoid. Well, that's enough about death. Now some smutty revelations about big names. Right. I happen to know that John Travolta, Neil Diamond... along with Marlon Brando and every commissioner of the Metropolitan Police except one. Now, Arabs. You may not want to know what an Arab thinks, but maybe you should. Arabs, it seems, do care about what we think. While the rulers in Iran were happy to bring back dismemberment as fit punishment for certain crimes, because of education and perceived world opinion, these anachronistic leaders had to really scrape the barrel to find enough unaware idiots to carry out the sentences. Nobody wanted to cut anyone's arms or even hands off. Now there's progress. Fortunately, communications are breaking down political and national barriers, and we're able to see round, over and through them to glimpse people everywhere as they really are, and not as world leaders would like them to be seen. We don't have to be judged by our local neighbors anymore. There is a bigger, global neighbor who is more tolerant and understanding. It is you, as you struggle to understand, tolerate, or disapprove the ways of others. I think I only said peer pressure 6 times.
There you go. Make of that what you will. That was a bit odd. I think I lost everybody. It went away. 7.75 years.
I'm still here.
You know, it's all
I'm
right.
still here. I'm just back. I took a toilet break.
You know, you're right. That was a very Monty Python statement-ish.
Well, of course it was.
Yes, which is fine. I just was trying to find it. Remember when it was actually made? And it's interesting. 10 years ago.
I would.
No,
well, I'm going to say I would have guessed that was probably made sometime after Python finishes a show, but probably before the movies got big.
Yes. Because I was going to say it's more than 10 years ago. I think 10 years ago was when it was put up on YouTube.
Because if you'll notice, it's in... well, look, there's going to be a copyright notice right at the very end.
Yeah, I was just going back. Went too far.
Became a mission of a lifetime.
Let's go back to there. Yeah. It's only up for a fraction of a second and then it skips.
Became a mission of a lifetime.
Oh, stop it. I don't know what's giving me that second one anyway.
Became a mission of a lifetime.
Yeah,
get
and
ready,
the
get ready, get ready, get ready.
Pause and go frame by frame.
Yeah, I tried that before. It was just skipping.
84.
84, there you go. Just when I left school.
Yeah.
Channel 4, not surprising. Channel 4, that seems like a Channel 4 program. Yes. Well, there we go. Let's switch it back over there. Well, that was an interesting discussion tonight, guys. We're drawing to a close. We're finishing off about midnight. We'd like to, we might call it to an end. I was just looking to see what else I've got. I do have a Dan. But I might leave that for next time. Dan has put up a couple of more interesting things lately, I've got to admit. But and we're still waiting for Matt, but I haven't seen any of that with our friend Dan. Okay. Well, thanks guys for coming. All the peanuts out there, and all the new people that came over from After Blues. That's very nice of you to come over. We hopefully, I don't know what the chances of getting some better information out of MJ. I don't like our chances, but we'll see, and have a bit more of a debate that actually covered a bit more detail. But we might follow up. I'm sure Bev will do something. You'd think, but I know he's been staying away from that discussion, hasn't he? So he might not have any of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like that conversation was going to go any further than it did. In fact, I was surprised it went as far as it did.
I'm surprised too. I mean, he's like a seagull. He comes and annoys the shit out of you for a while, then shits on your head and flies away.
After having knocked your bag of chips out your hand and stolen it all.
Yeah.
Stole them, yeah. Yes. I don't know. We'll see. I'll see what happens in a week. We'll follow up. Okay. Well, thanks for coming. I'll end the stream in a few minutes. Do you guys want to say goodbye to the Peanuts?
Goodbye, Peanuts.
Goodbye, Peanuts.
Goodbye, Peanuts.
Make sure you can do maths, otherwise you'll turn into a flat earther.
Yes.
Oh no! Help!
There'll be another stream on Wednesday, Australian time, and we'll see those that come.